You're watching a presentation of the Southeastern Conference on ABC.
They're a highly ranked team coming into our house.
We can't be worried about outside circumstances. The most important thing is winning.
We're the best in the country, bro. I swear to God.
Everybody likes to be an underdog.
We don't quit. We don't quit.
We're well aware of everything we're playing for.
Let's get another one. Let's get another one.
Every single one of you guys gonna need each other tonight.
It's time to cut it loose.
Everything's at stake when it comes to keeping our season alive. No matter what the circumstances are, it's going to be one to watch.
Tonight in Norman, just the seventh collision between these two blue blood programs, the Crimson Tide of Alabama, the Crimson and Cream of OU, just the third in the regular season. Welcome to the SEC on ABC. Saturday Night Football presented by Capital One. Nice breezy evening in Oklahoma as the Crimson Tide come calling their first meeting, of course, as SEC rivals. Welcome, Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Holly Rowe will join us. Well, you got two teams on different trajectories. Alabama is surging. The Sooners are kind of limping along, a sobering year one in the SEC, but they promise an inspired effort tonight. And this is the stretch run in the wildest SEC race ever, and anything is possible. No foregone conclusions. We've seen the underdogs fight today.
Well, it's amazing. You know, we've always had these two divisions, and now just throw everybody into one conference and see who's there at the end. And you knew it was going to be a wild race, but I don't know if anybody expected to see the challenges of trying to maintain it week in and week out and how it could affect the top of this conference. Let's face it, there's more depth, 1 to about 7 or 8, maybe 9 in this conference than any other conference. And obviously, that's what makes it so tough, especially when you go on the road like Alabama's facing tonight.
Alabama continues to be in must-win mode. They had that spectacular win at home against Georgia. Everybody thought that they were pointed toward the playoff. It was an incredible, exciting game. They get the Ryan Williams touchdown. They hold on late with an interception. But then they had a shake-up in October. You had people ripping down the goalposts, smoking cigars, 2 road losses. They needed to turn things around, and they did. Shutting out Missouri, then emptying Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge. That's the mission tonight. Strike quickly and break the spirit of the home team.
Well, I think Jalen Milroe and this team comes in with a great deal of confidence. I think that LSU game really helped them turn a corner. I think what's happened around them in the conference has them thinking, you know what, guys, we control our own destiny. What we want to achieve in this year, whether it's winning a conference championship, get into the postseason, whatever it is, it's in front of them. And I think they've learned from previous mistakes. I think they come into this game, even with the Iron Bowl next week and being heavy favorites, I think they're locked in and knowing what it takes to win tonight. So they need to show some maturity and handle this situation.
Oklahoma's just trying to get one more win, get bowl eligible. It's a defensive personality to this team. Quarterback has been a struggle. You got Jackson Arnold starting tonight. He got pulled. Michael Hawkins came in. Arnold returns. Can they manufacture enough offense tonight and create some takeaways on defense?
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing. I think for them to have a true shot, their defense, Brent Venables as good as there is in the country. He's got a defense. It's got some experience. They've got to give Jackson Arnold a short field to work with. And let's face it, they need to keep this home crowd in it. They need success early to get themselves to believe, why not? Let's pull off a big upset.
It's senior night. There's a lot of pride these veterans have in wearing the Oklahoma jersey one last time. It'll be gritty. Can they make it a cage match here in Norman tonight and knock off the Crimson Tide? OU and Bama coming up.
The Nissan pregame drive is next after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Hey, Mark, what are you doing, buddy?
I've always wanted to be in a homecoming parade. I grew these flowers myself, but more so, I grew as a person. Check this. Showtime.
Roll Tide.
Welcome to the Nissan pregame drive. Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy.
Tide and the Sooners coming up. In the meantime, Kirk, we've got this 12-team playoff era stretch run with more games involving playoff pressure than ever before. Indiana scored first in Columbus, then basically the Buckeyes took over. Special teams huge in this one.
Yeah, this was a huge play by Caleb Downs, a safety. What an athletic play. Great blocks downfield. Really put the game away. Indiana 70 yards on the opening drive, 81 the rest of the game.
Was it good enough? That's going to be their blemish on the resume. Penn State really had to battle against Minnesota.
Yeah, this is a game that you knew they would be challenged on the road. Really caught a break here late, able to kind of secure a win. What a gutsy call, deep in his own territory. James Franklin, 4th and 1, makes the call to secure a win. It looks like, because they got another 4th down, and Drew Aller, who's not known necessarily for his athletic ability, but gets it out to Warren, and he sits there, and James Franklin survive and advance.
10-1, there are still skeptics. Florida, another inspired win at home as they knock off Ole Miss.
To me, this is as good a job that's been done in college football. Facing a 4-5 year, they beat LSU, they beat Ole Miss, they got Florida State. Devastating loss for Lane Kiffin and Jackson Dart.
Wild one in Tempe. Kenny Dillingham and ASU picked near the bottom of this conference, knock off BYU, but this was an adventurous one right down to the final seconds here. Cougars were down but wouldn't give up. Here's the interception, and notice the time remaining. They run it all the way down. Eventually, they kind of bungled the clock management, and the Cougars had a Hail Mary chance. There was a 13-minute delay after they rushed the field.
Yeah, how about this team? I mean, like you said, nobody's been talking about them. Nobody wants to win the Big 12 championship. Nobody wants to go to the Big 12 championship except ASU. Congratulations to Kenny Dillingham. What he's done the last 2 weeks has been amazing.
Colorado lost to Kansas. It's a free-for-all down the stretch. 1 week to go in the Big 12. Senior night, and Danny Stutzman, what a warrior he has been. The middle linebacker for Oklahoma, the tackling machine, comes to the Orlando area. 3rd straight 100-tackle season, promises that he will be fueled by the emotion of putting on that shirt one last time at home. And he and a core of Oklahoma veterans on defense hoping to shock the Sooners tonight. This has been the Nissan pregame drive. Kickoff coming up next from Norman after these messages from Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy.
You know the most exciting thing about life? It's how you can change it. How you can reinvent yourself. Take on new challenges. So go ahead, reimagine yourself. We did. Introducing the all-new, reimagined Nissan Kicks.
There's never been a playoff like this. The new 12-team college football playoff begins with the first round December 20th and 21st. That's how I get by.
When your standards are high, the noise gets loud.
Alabama is an absolute
everything around them is because you lose to Vanderbilt, a team that you hear the outside.
Alabama's growth has been staggering.
The key for the Tide, cancel it out. Keep rolling and finish strong.
Good night! Touchdown, Alabama!
Tonight, Oklahoma wants to raise its own levels and turn out the Tide.
Look out, head out, get away. This is going crazy.
Bama's on a mission. They can turn down everyone else's volume by turning up their own.
That's what we do!
The Tide and the Sooners on Saturday Night Football.
And welcome back. Saturday Night Football presented by Capital One. Alabama comes in. Kalen DeBoer has gotten teams ready in November. Won 12 straight November games going back to his years at Washington and at Fresno State. He's with Holly Rowe.
Well, Coach, how have you guarded against your team looking at Oklahoma's record this week, thinking this will be anything less than a dogfight on the road?
Yeah, I mean, they got a great football team. They play hard, well coached, and so coming into an environment like this, you know, we know we got to play one play at a time and do and be great.
You've been using a motto with your team, apply pressure. How do you do that the best tonight?
Yeah, do your job, execute, and as a unit, as a team, we continue to just plug away, be relentless over and over.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Venables says everybody loves to be an underdog. Well, the Sooners had not been this big an underdog, more than 2 touchdowns at home, Kirk, since 1997. So no one giving them a chance is certainly whatever fuel they might need at 5-5 to get going tonight.
Yeah, I bumped into Bob Stoops in the hallway coming in, and he said, hey, don't forget, we played them in the Sugar Bowl. We were big underdogs that game, too, and we ended up beating them by 14. So you never know.
Well, Trevor Knight was quarterback. If they get some good quarterback play now, hey. Bob Stoops, by the way, was 3-0 against Alabama. Just mention that. 2 of those pre-Saban. Bama won the toss and, of course, elected to kick away and defer, and Graham Nicholson will boot it away for the Crimson Tide. Billy Bowman, their playmaking safety, back deep to receive this kickoff. Can Oklahoma get off to a positive start? Can this offense, which has struggled so much, among the worst in the country in several important categories, can they get going tonight against Bama's defense? It's returnable, a short kick, and Bowman from the 10 spins free and is knocked down at the 24-yard line. Jackson Darnold, a 5-star recruit that Nick Saban and everybody else wanted. The first 4 starts, a serious struggle. The last 3, and you have to include a game against Maine in that, no interceptions, but holding on to the football, Kirk. That's key. He's lost 5 fumbles, cannot put it on the ground tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. They need success on 1st and 10. This is an offense not built for 3rd down and long. So they got to get manageable situations, not only for Jackson, but also for this offensive line.
Taylor Tatum, the true freshman back, gets the start. Javante Barnes with a foot injury cannot go tonight. And it's a keeper on the first play, and Jackson Arnold follows, blocks, and a quick burst for 12 yards.
Yeah, that's a great way to get started right there. Really good read, good feel. Look at the injuries that they've had to deal with. I've never seen that in my life. But ever in my life, their top 5 wide receivers have been out the majority this year. You see the offensive line where they had to reshuffle the deck.
9 different offensive line starting combination. Second keeper for Arnold around left end for a couple of yards. So Logan Howland will need to step up along with Spencer Brown trying to negate this Alabama pass rush.
You can see this offensive line. You just talked about them, and you know they have such a big role tonight. The challenge of the physicality against Alabama's defensive front.
LT Overton, who's the Crimson Tide player down on the field. Alabama has had its share of injuries, of course. Q Robinson, their best pass rusher, is out. They lost the veteran transfer from Michigan, Keon Sabb. Overton has had to step up and play an important role, and that's a concern in the second play of the game.
Absolutely. Yeah, they pride themselves on the depth that they have up there. He's walking, but not putting a lot of weight on that left foot. He came in from the right. See him right there in the middle of the screen, down already. Yeah, they love to rotate and keep them fresh. So let's keep an eye, and we'll see how Overton is, and if he's able to shake that off and get back out there.
So 2 quarterback keepers. Arnold, not known as a prolific running quarterback. He's an effective scrambler, but 2 design runs to start things off here on 2nd and 9. It's an end around, and this is Zion Reagan's true freshman receiver. They'll try to look for guys to create something, anything with the running game tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we've mentioned a lot with this offense, and we've seen them a bunch of times and watched them all year. You know, the quarterback situation speaks for itself. Having a new offensive coordinator right in the middle of the year. Seth Luttrell fired. Joe John Finley comes in, also getting help from Kevin Johns, who's more really an analyst, who now right away picks up the whistle mid-season and had to make some adjustments. And it sounds like he's done a good job.
3rd down's been a problem, Kirk. 23% in their SEC games, and on 3rd and 6, Arnold inaccurate throw to Brennan Thompson, and here comes the punt team.
Yeah, like we talked about, 3rd down has been a tough spot, and you'd expect it to be a tough spot when you have so many injuries to receiver and offensive line. Here's just a misfire. So the receiver working inside there, really good inside-outside coverage there. Malachi Moore took away anything, and I think that, you know, he really sensed that, tried to throw it away from 13, and he and the receiver not able to execute there for that 1st down.
Luke Elzinga in his 5th year punting. second year here after 3 years at Central Michigan. The lefty boots it away, and Ryan Williams, the talented freshman, will have a chance here. It's a low kick, and Williams makes a couple guys miss, and then a hard smack at the 25-yard line. And here comes Jalen Milroe. We saw him in Baton Rouge run for 185 and 4 touchdowns against LSU. Can he again feature in the running game against this stout defense tonight?
Well, when he gets going with his legs, it's a different ball game. And the losses against Vandy and Tennessee, only 10.5 yards rushing per game. In those wins you're talking about, he's been unstoppable running the football. So they go as far as he gets his running game going. It seems to open up every other aspect of this offense and what Nick Sheridan and Kalen DeBoer try to do.
Jam Miller, part of the tailback tandem in the backfield, but it's Milroe, straight keeper, and he ran right into Danny Stutzman, the tackling machine, the man who is the emotional leader and on-field leader of this defense.
Boy, that's such a great instincts. You know, this defensive line's going to eat up all the offensive line, the movement frees up, and he does a good job of just feeling that, working around that block by Dupree. And that's just a great feel of getting downhill there by the middle linebacker.
Milroe from the pocket on 2nd and 9, and it's incomplete. And he tried to find Dupree, who whiffs on a block and then drops the ball in the second play. Stutzman was in there, and there's a flag down.
Looked like the left tackle moved.
Offside. Defense number 32 was lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
It's the pass rusher, R. Mason Thomas.
It's interesting because it's always one of those. There was slight movement by R. Mason Thomas. It got Proctor to react. I think that's what Brent Venables. A little bit of movement here. Watch the left tackle. I mean, that was a flinch from 32. He didn't go across into the neutral zone. But the left tackle fell back after that slight movement.
So on 2nd and 4, Milroe keeps it, and he'll be dropped. Could not get the edge. Eli Bowen, the 5'9" freshman corner, who's had a terrific season, wasn't buying it.
Well, they cannot say enough good things about Bowen as a freshman. As the brother, Peyton Bowen, who's a veteran on this team, and watch him out here just react, come up. It's a tough ask for a corner, being able to get off a block and then being able to come up and help out. He's a fireball, 5'9", about 190-pound true freshman, getting away from Ryan Williams to make that play.
Need 3 on 3rd down. And incomplete. So the pass game misfired. It was off the hands of Williams. That's a ragged opening series for Bama, and they'll kick it away.
Yeah, good matchup with the 2 true freshmen. Bowen, again, in coverage. Ryan Williams just unable to hold on to that. That ball was thrown on time. He had a condensed formation. All he had to do was secure the ball, and it's a 1st down. Catch that, get ready to take the hit, but it goes right through his hands. So
a couple of drops in the opening series, and James Burnip on the punt it away. You mentioned Peyton Bowen, their safety is also their punt returner. And booting the ball into the wind tonight. It's kind of blowing left to right. Not a very good looking kick. Second possession for the Sooners coming up when you come back to Norman. Talked about the struggles of the quarterback position. Jackson Arnold pulled after some turnovers of the game we saw here against Tennessee. Michael Hawkins struggled against Texas, and then back came Arnold against South Carolina. Seth Luttrell fired in October, and Brent Venables will continue the search for a new offensive coordinator, one of the major plot lines in the stretch run here at Norman. Ending up year 3. He talked about, Kirk, his phrase for this was embracing and using the suffering of the season.
Yeah.
Quite interesting comment.
It was. He's in the middle of a storm right now on so many levels, and he's growing because of it, experiencing it as a head coach, but it's tough to get through to make him better as a head coach.
L.T. Overton, by the way, back on the field for Alabama, but there's Xavier Robinson, the young running back. He gives him a spark, runs all the way down to the Bama 35.
Well, you're going to get the counter play You're going to get the guard pulling around the tight end, but watch the quarterback. Watch his head when he goes while slow and developing. See him reading that? You know, he's really patient there on the read and on the ride, looking at that backside defensive end.
Now it's Tatum off the left side, tries to get the edge, and he's knocked down after a short gain by Malachi Moore.
This offense, you can tell they've challenged them this week to meet the physicality of this Alabama front. Linebackers are experienced with Lawson and Campbell. The front's been around, big, strong bodies. And Oklahoma's only chance is they got to get that zone read game going, the RPO game going, and a quarterback run threat has to be on display tonight.
To get a 40-yard run this early in the game, surprising. Blitz off the edge. Arnold escapes it, and he'll scramble forward. Comes up about a yard short of the marker. Damani Jackson on the corner blitz couldn't get him.
No, but it's a good feel. I mean, I think he does a good job of sensing that this is going to potentially get to him. Nobody picks it up, just steps up. Did not panic. I'll tell you, this guy is a much better athlete than I think people realize. You're right. He's not necessarily a runner, but he is a dual threat. And I think the Oklahoma defense, or the Alabama defense, as this game goes on, they're going to be more and more aware of his ability to create because they're going to have to stop him. With all these injuries, that really, his legs are a big factor.
Need 2 on 3rd down. Tatum smacked down, lost the ball. Fumbles have been a huge problem all season. Deontay Lawson recovers that, but exactly what has been sort of the nightmare for this team. That's the 14th fumble loss.
Yeah, and how about Bray Hubbard? Kane Womack bringing some pressure these last few plays. We saw a corner blitz. This time you're going to see the safety here kind of cheat down, and then get involved in big hit right there. Ball comes out, and Lawson's able to capitalize and get on that, but give Coach Womack a lot of credit there for dialing that pressure up. Nobody picks up Hubbard. He comes free off the edge, and the ball comes out with a big hit against a true freshman. That's 25 takeaways now on the year. That's the 3rd most in the country.
Exactly. You got a team that's great at creating fumbles, and one that has lost more fumbles than anybody in the country. And now Bama possession number 2 from the 21. Milroe on the run and flips it incomplete. Williams was running across there. R. Mason Thomas was chasing the quarterback. There's a couple of flags down on the field.
An eligible downfield player, offense number 57. 5-yard penalty, replay first down.
Looks like right tackle Elijah Pritchard. Sometimes on these throws that are designed to come out quick, you got to be really careful because you see right here, this offensive lineman just to the right, 57. Look how far downfield he is. He thought that ball would have been out a lot earlier.
Oklahoma defense trying to make a play here. That was a deflating fumble after a promising start for the Sooner offense, and all season long they've leaned on this defense to keep them close in games. Milroe has time from the pocket, incomplete. That was again intended for Williams, bounced off the umpire.
Well, you're right, and we talked about, really anybody's talked about this game all week knew that this is the matchup. This side of the football, there it is. Umpire, be ready. Bang, off that left arm. We knew coming in, and you're right. In the field position, this is what you want if you're Oklahoma. Try to get, not that you wanted a turnover, but you're trying to keep Milroe in this offense behind the sticks and deep in their own territory, and that's what they got here.
It's Loud on 2nd and 15. Milroe took a peek, takes off, and you can tell this Sooner defense all over him. Ethan Downs was there, and Milroe hasn't had any room to run so far.
Chris, that's what I think you expect from the defensive ends. You can't get upfield. You got to be more concerned about the potential of what he can do if he takes off. So you got to be ready for him to try to escape by stepping up. Really good feel and awareness by the veteran Downs that time with his eyes on Milroe. So when he stepped up, he was in position to make the play.
Justice Haynes is the back on 3rd and 16. Milroe has time, launches down the seam, and going up to make the catch is Jeremy Bernard. And just like that, Bama's offense gets a spark.
What a job by this offensive line. Watch this safety. I'm not really sure what he's thinking as this ball gets worked downfield. He goes playing a little robber. It goes over top of his head. Linebacker tried to get back to the middle of the field. That looked like Campbell, who was working back. That ball was thrown on a line, and what a job by Bernard to climb the ladder to make that critical catch there on 3rd down and long.
Followed DeBoer from Washington, 36th catch of the season. Haynes up the middle. Those downfield shots were a big part of Bama's early success. Remember the Georgia game? Bombs away. Yeah. But they've really dropped off in recent weeks. They want to get that going tonight for the stretch run.
And yeah, I think it's a little bit of a catch-22 because they go, when Jalen Milroe, the LSU game, they didn't need those big plays downfield because they got his legs going in the running game. But I think it's a combination of the two. It's a feel, getting him running, and then finding ability to hit those shots downfield. And tonight, that's an Oklahoma defense, as good as they are. That's the area where they've really had issues, is defending those vertical shots.
Strong arm, throws a very tight spiral. He spun it right into that headwind tonight. An accurate throw, and they'll keep it on the ground and get the first down.
Yeah, boy, there are times when he's back in that pocket. He looks like he's made to throw from the pocket. There's other times where he's a little indecisive. It's really about him just kind of, like a lot of guys, just getting into that flow, getting into a rhythm. You know, he talked about this week, we got to get into a rhythm, and we heard Oklahoma, and Brent Venables must have said, we can't let him get into that rhythm. I don't know how many times he said that. They're going to do everything they can to make him indecisive and uncomfortable.
Miller, take it to him, and he kept it. The whole defense was flowing to the running back, and Milroe there, that's his most positive run so far.
Yeah, he's just reading this man right here. If he follows the back, he's going to pull it. Now it's just simple zone read, and now, you know, it's almost as if Oklahoma wanted him to keep that one, because you have a defender coming down in Woody Washington to try to make the play, but he still is able to gain 5 yards.
Look at that, 9.6 per rush the last 3 games. That does include the game against Mercer, but Missouri and LSU, the other 2 opponents. Here's another run, the spin. Milroe trying to get free. Actually has to run backwards. It is dropped by Robert Spears Jennings. Retreated a little bit after spinning to some space.
Well, that's called gang tackling. That's called leveraging the football. Really good job by all levels here of this defense, because he spun out of that, and against some teams, he's off to the races. But look at the discipline of this team, and look how they're all running to the ball to take him away. That's 5 times he's run the football tonight and only 2 yards rushing. They are locked in to take him and his legs away from this offense.
The safeties, Spears Jennings and Bowman, part of the strength of this defense. Stout up the middle with Stutzman, and then those 2 safeties behind him. On 3rd and 10, Milroe from the pocket again delivers downfield, and this is Ryan Williams still running. Williams will score. An electric 41-yard touchdown with a brilliant freshman. He is hard to get down.
He sure is. He's right here on the inside of this bunch formation. Look at the coverage across from it, the AT&T clicker. That is really tough to do when he gets a free release off the line of scrimmage with the speed that he has. He separates, Milroe sees him. Now you get him the ball in his hands, and now he's got the physical ability close there to stepping out of bounds. They're probably going to take a peek to see if in fact he did. But he separates, and he's not done, as we saw against Georgia. Yeah, he stepped out. He's going to be out of bounds.
Bill LeMonnier with us in the booth, and for the stretch run. That right shoe did appear to be on the paint, Bill.
He did step out of bounds. Tough one for the official to see with the action at the side, but replay's got a good view. Reverse it, bring it back to that spot.
Chris, I'll tell you, for a guy that's 175 pounds, I mean, the fun just begins when he catches the ball. I mean, he can go downfield and make that great catch, but the Georgia game, the body control, the strength, you know, he does so much. But, you know, again, it's going to come back, but
he's just different.
He is.
After video review, the runner stepped out of bounds at the 11-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 11.
Leapt and made the catch, spun around, the 2 dogs collided, and he ran into the end zone. He is so exceptional body control.
Yeah, the body control, the speed. I mean, and you got to give Brent Venables some credit for saying, you know, we're going to have to leave guys out on islands. You know, and we feel like we can match up. You're going to win some, or you're going to lose some. It's really, when you do that, it's about the pass rush. You know, they brought 5 guys that time. They weren't able to get to him. The line did their job. If you don't get to him and you leave people isolated against him, you're gonna lose that battle more often than not.
So ball at the 11. It's a 30-yard conversion of a 3rd and 10. Keeper again. Milrose spins, and he's knocked down at the 4. You practice the spin move, you think, in Tuscaloosa?
I think
Ryan and his quarterback.
I think it's just instincts. I think that, especially down in this area, when he takes that football on these quarterback design runs.
Keeper again, Milroe again. They spread him out and force him out of bounds for a loss. Kenai Walker did his job.
He sure did. Kenai Walker, the transfer out of Louisville, he knows as much as you want to be able to get inside and help out, you've got to be disciplined and keep the edge to the defense, especially with a guy like Milroe. At any moment, he can bounce it outside, so he keeps the edge to the defense and prevents the touchdown there.
They're a great red zone team, mainly because they have 27 red zone rushing touchdowns. Milroe, a huge part of that. He needs 6 here.
He can get the first down without scoring.
He handed it off to Miller, and he does not get the first down. Knocked down at the 5. So 2 long 3rd down conversions, 2 big downfield pass plays. And Alabama, after 11 plays, sitting there with the 4th and 3 at the 4.
Interesting call on that 3rd down. They were calling it with the idea based on the fact they're still out there. They were trying to get 3 or 4, try to make this a little bit easier. I think they're probably hoping to get to that 4th and 1 or 2 mark, but there they are at 4th and 3.
Surprised he's not taking the 3 here?
Not necessarily, because I think the confidence that they have in their own defense, if you don't make it, you still make this offense from Oklahoma have to go a long way.
2 tight ends. Play clock was winding down, and DeBoer will spend the timeout to make sure they get the call right. That's an aggressive call.
It is.
We'll see if the Sooners can come up with a 4th down stop. Scoreless in Norman, 3:27 left in the opening quarter.
Capital One cardholders can get their own rewarding performance when they redeem their credit card rewards for tickets to exclusive events and experiences on Capital One Entertainment. Scan the code on your screen to learn more. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Well, one further review. You're going to attempt the field goal. Graham Nicholson won the Groza Award at Miami of Ohio. This is only his 8th field goal attempt of the season. They don't kick a lot of field goals.
No.
But DeBoer deciding to jump in front here after a 12-play, 75-yard drive. This is a chip shot from 22.
Going to reset.
I get the theory that if you don't make it, your defense is pinned a struggling offense back there. But at the other hand, a chance to go up on a struggling offense by taking the 3.
Yeah. Go either way. Going to take the 3.
And Alabama does get that fumble recovery and then march it down and settle for a field goal. Milroe 2 nice 3rd down completions on the drive. Among the postseason meetings, the Sugar Bowl after the 2013 season. A.J. McCarron, last snap for Bama. It's the old scoop and score. 45-31 OU.
It was a shocker.
Bama was number 3.
Number 3 in the country. They go down. From the beginning of that game, that Oklahoma team with Bob Stoops, they played with a big chip on their shoulder. They were there to show. Remember all the SEC build-up?
Oh, yeah.
He built that up pre-game, post-game. You can't play with the SEC, huh? We'll see.
That was the last year before the CIP arrived. Kevin Nagani, we'll check with you before OU gets going here.
Chris, good evening. Time now for our Dr. Pepper Fansville studio update. Shamrock Series, Yankee Stadium, and Notre Dame's offense driving. Riley Leonard at Jeremiah Love. Look at this play. Whoop. Yeah, there he goes. 14-0, and then more Love on the ground. Right now, 21-7 Irish over number 19 Army. Back to Chris and Kirk.
Thanks, Kevin. Keep an eye on that. On the Plains, Auburn an early 14-0 lead over the fighting Texas Aggies. They might be taking a peek ahead. OU looking to get Arnold loose on the scramble. Takes a big shot, but he's been an effective runner so far. Picks up a first down.
He did a really good job of feeling loss in that time in coverage. He's looking around, head on his swivel, trying to find crossing routes, so it gave him room again to be able to extend and pick up first down yardage.
Protection has been such an issue for this Oklahoma offensive line. There's a shovel pass inside. Nice little call, and there was a crease for Xavier Robinson, who's made a couple of nice plays in the early going. Another chunk of yardage.
Great execution. Nice timing there. Little shovel pass, but to be able to open that up, you got to sell it by rolling and really looking to be able to pull that defense towards you. Sold it well.
Slow developing play off the play fake, and they check it down. Robinson's the guy that spent the first half of the year on the scout team, taking his lumps from this rugged defense, and has earned his right to come in and make a contribution late in the year.
Yeah, and the rest of the roster sees things like that. You know, they see a guy paying his dues, you get some injuries, guys doing the right thing down on the scout team, and he's rewarded for it. It's great to see him get an opportunity.
218 pounds. This is physical dude with good vision. Arnold again, keeper, Jackson Arnold into the secondary. It's a sprint, and they finally tackle him at the 22. Malachi Moore saved the touchdown, but OU's offense showing life. 28 yards.
Watch the little block here on the inside here by Sharp. He just gets behind him, gives him that extra man. He picks up the safety. And again, this guy can run. If you watched him play high school football coming out of Geyer and Denton, he was one of the most highly recruited kids that year, and it wasn't just his arm. He can throw it, he can run it. Defenses have got to be aware of that, and again, he's reminding this Alabama defense that that's a big part of the attack tonight.
Two-back look, and it's Gavin Sawchuk, a guy who's struggled with injuries so much, part of this running back by committee. Not much there. He's missed the last 3 games.
You keep talking about what do you do when you're such a big underdog. When we talked about trying to have success early, keep the crowd in it. The other part of it, you get an opportunity like this, you get into the red zone, you can't kick field goals if you're going to try to pull off an upset against Alabama. They got to finish drives and put points on the board.
Final minute of the quarter on 2nd and 10. Arnold has time for the pocket, throws for the end zone, incomplete. He tried to get Bauer Sharp, top receiver, who's still healthy on this team. Deontay Lawson brought the heat.
Good job of getting pressure. That was really just coverage downfield. Malachi Moore doing his job at the back end. Bray Hubbard, who's been such a great addition to this defense as well back there at safety.
And talk about it, Kirk. You can't settle for 3 down here. The tough ask on 3rd and 10 against this Alabama defense that has been stingy on 3rd. Opponents just 32% for the season. They crowd the line here. And it's a backwards pass. Brennan Thompson, and incomplete trickery. Everything but the final piece of business as Bauer Sharp got his hands on Brennan Thompson's pass.
Well, they brought the house. Everybody is on the blitz, and it's watch how quick the shortstop. Oh, look at that quick throw, like that shortstop throw. It's a lateral. Alabama man-to-man. Both the defenders come up to defend this play. Nobody back on the back end. It's exactly the way you would design it, and Sharp just unable to bring that one in for the touchdown.
It's catchable, but boy, put the ball anywhere out there, and it's a touchdown.
Oh, yeah.
So 39-yard attempt, and a line drive kick is no good. Zach Schmidt comes in and misses for the first time this season. 2 good drives from the Sooners, nothing to show for it so far.
You almost can't make it up, right? I mean, it's when it's one of those years, it's one of those years. Snapping a hole pretty good. He just misses the kick. Doesn't really hit it clean at all, obviously. But man, you go back to that 3rd down play that could not have drawn up a better time against a better defense to get that play. Arnold executed it, got it out there. Thompson just unable to put the ball where it needed to be. Like you said, Sharp could have made the catch, would have been a little bit tougher than with nobody within 10 or 15 yards around him. Just put it anywhere, like you said.
Positive sign for the Sooners. They are moving the ball very well tonight. Milroe from the pocket, and misfire has tried to find Bernard.
it looked like that ball was headed right towards him. I don't know what happened to Bernard at the end of that route. I don't know if watch him run across the field, and then right at the end,
Kind of lost the ball.
Yeah, it was very strange. It looked like, boy, that's a good ball. It's going to be right on the money, and then, yeah, I don't know what happened to him. But something affected him there towards the end of that route.
Bootleg and flips to Williams for about a 3-yard loss. Holly?
Guys, the lights in the corners of these stadiums are very bright. I did see some of the Alabama punt returners in pregame warm-up struggling to read the ball off these lights. Not sure if that's what happened there, but he definitely put his hands up, thought the ball was there before it got there.
Yeah, I guess, Holly, that's all it could be. I didn't realize the lights were an issue, but it looked like he was either bracing for a hit or, like you said, he was kind of guessing where the ball might be. But yeah, he did. He just pointed up to the lights. So you're all over it, Holly. I appreciate that report, because I thought the execution, everything looked like it seemed to be in sync there.
Well, the Bama offense not quite in sync. They'll face a 3rd and 12 at the beginning of the second quarter. End of one in Norman. Back after this message and a word from your local ABC station. You're watching the SEC on ABC. Except for the second quarter, the SEC on ABC. Saturday Night Football presented by Capital One. Oklahoma, so much despair around here about the offense. They've had 2 drives that have each reached the 21-yard line of Alabama, so close to the red zone. Nothing to come up with there. A fumble and a missed field goal. But the defense, as expected, playing salty against the Tide running game. And it's 3rd and 10. That play was ruled incomplete after they looked at it. So instead of being behind the line of scrimmage, it's 3rd and 10, Bill.
I'm confused because that was an incomplete pass. We're still in the first quarter.
No. We've gone on to the second, Bill. Don't worry about it. Milroe, heavy traffic, drop behind the line. They're just not going to let number 4 beat him if they can help it tonight with the run.
No, they're crowding that line of scrimmage. Look at Brent Venables. He's feeling it right now. I think this scheme is locked in, and that's what had to happen for them to be able to pull off this upset. Look at the line of scrimmage. I mean, you got everybody up there. They are expecting Milroe to run this football on 3rd down and long, and they just outnumber them. 8 runs on the night and only 3 yards rushing now for Jalen Milroe.
Last road game, you recall how unstoppable he was in Baton Rouge. Burnip on the run, boots it away. Not a particularly good punt again. And Bowen drifts back and makes a fair catch, and Oklahoma had pretty good field position for this possession. Holly?
Some good defensive performances. You can feel the juice for this Oklahoma defense. Danny Stutzman, this senior, starting his 36th career game tonight, told us this week, we've had a great attitude. I have not taken a rep off. I haven't taken a lift off. I've watched film every day, because if I don't do it, the young guys see that that's the standard. I'm setting the standard. We're setting the standard. And the coaches said they had their best practice of the year on Thursday. These guys are still locked in despite the disappointing season.
You like football or any sport, you have to respect Stutzman. I've given my all to OU every practice, every game in that long career that you described. Xavier Robinson, again, the true freshman off the left side. Flag down. Jahad Campbell made the stop. Wayne Winkler in charge of this SEC crew tonight.
There is no foul on the play, 2nd down.
Interesting to hear Holly say that. I've been so impressed around the country. You wonder about this new era that we're in with NIL and transfer portal, and teams when they have quote unquote something to play for, whether it's a championship or the playoff. Oh, teams and players are going to be engaged, but once they get out of it, they're going to lose the team. Here's an example. Oklahoma, the way they're playing tonight, this team is still engaged. Holly just told you, best practice they've had all year, despite their record. We see it down in Gainesville. Great to see these coaches doing good work off the radar a bit to try to keep these guys still feeling like we're a football team. Yeah. We play for each other. It's what we do. We compete. You lift weights all year. You get so many times to go out and play a game. Let's go out there and play for each other, you know, and play for some pride. And it's
you fired up here, Coach.
No, I'm just saying it's good to see it still exists in this current era of the sport.
A few of the old-fashioned things still do exist. Arnold off the keeper there, sets up a 3rd and 6. Pressure comes. Arnold backpedals, delivers across the middle. Thompson's free and is finally tracked down inside the 40. But a quick crossing route picks up 19 and a 1st down.
Boy, this is a heck of a job because the safety starts to come down, and that's when you got to be careful of man coverage. And look how the safety's just a step or two short in reading the quarterback and coming down to help out with man coverage with Damani Jackson. He's supposed to be helping kind of take that away. The corner had outside leverage. He needs his safety to get down a little quicker.
Little tempo here. Robinson cuts it back, has a little crease, and he's knocked down after another 1st down here at the 27. Got 13 more.
Boy, we got a guy down. It looks like Thompson, who just had the big catch. Well, just what they need. All the injuries they've had at wide receiver, and now another one goes down.
Oh, you can't be serious. Please tell me another Oklahoma receiver has not gotten seriously injured.
Yeah, there he is, making an attempt to block.
That bent back that right leg, clutching at the ankle. Incredible the number of guys in this team that have gone down hurt. We'll step aside. The Sooner injury list is just staggering. Talked about the receiver position as Brennan Thompson is helped off, and that left ankle appears to be the problem. But Nick Anderson was the star receiver a year ago. He really hasn't been available all season. Andrew Anthony, Jalil Farouk hurt his foot in the 1st game, then he re-aggravated it. That's Deion Burks, who was the transfer from Purdue, a very productive slot receiver. He got injured in that meltdown against Missouri in the final seconds.
Yep, never seen anything like it.
The running game has been productive, and Jackson Arnold is hanging in there. He eluded Deontay Lawson, who's slow to get up. The star linebacker for Alabama, he goes back down.
That's the veteran leader, just the face of the defense.
Holding his half.
Yeah, Jahad Campbell right there, pretty emotional with his buddy. Down, he's right in the middle of that defense, just scraping, trying to get out there to Arnold. And it almost looked like something before he got to him.
Lawson is the green dot. He wears the helmet communicator. He's the leader of this defense. He's the guy that stood up when Q Robinson went out with an injury, and he spoke to the team about resilience and the next man up mentality, and now he's the one that's being helped off the field. And you could tell from Jahad Campbell's reaction, those guys are buddies. They're so close in the middle there, and Campbell was distraught, which indication that not look good from field level.
And they're going to take him over to the sideline, and you wonder if they're going to immediately take him down into the locker room the way they did Thompson from Oklahoma. You know, if you're an Alabama fan, you're very, very curious to see what's going on with the captain of that defense as Justin Jefferson comes into the game to play next to Campbell now in the middle of that defense.
Jefferson, a senior, transferred from Pearl River Community College in Mississippi, but a huge gap in experience and productivity now with Jefferson in for Lawson. 2nd and 10. Fake the pitch to Robinson. Arnold keeps it, bangs forward. Which quarterback coming into this game was the dynamic runner we expected him to be putting together, Ron?
Yeah, but this kid can run. I mean, he is a very athletic guy. He's different than Hawkins, who's behind him, and like you said, is dynamic. But this kid's powerful. A 210-pound quarterback that is not afraid to lower his shoulder. This offense right now, I mean, they're averaging close to almost 10 yards a carry. Think about that. Against Alabama's defense, a couple runs over 25 yards. Offensive line's doing a heck of a job helping out.
3rd and 2 keeper. Arnold lowers that shoulder and pick up 1st down yardage. He collided with Devontae Smith. Well, let's see, the running in right near the marker. I thought I saw it live. It was enough for the first, but down marker says 3rd.
Keep in mind now, here, if you're just tuning in, this is the 3rd time that Oklahoma has been able to move deep into Alabama territory, but you see they don't have anything on the board.
Here's a first down.
So another chance. We talk about, you get down here, they dropped a wide receiver pass for a touchdown. They had a turnover down in this area, missed a field goal, and now they're back into the red zone again.
Now you got Bowers Sharp, the tight end, and two tailbacks joining Arnold in the backfield in this first down play. Keeper again, and this time Arnold tried to follow the block of Robinson. Nothing doing. Collided with big Tim Smith, the 314-pounder.
Well, it would have been nice after the fake if it was a block, but maybe the inexperience right here after he takes his fake handoff. You'd love for him to get in there and get a hold of somebody, but instead he just kind of turned around.
Got in the way.
Yeah, got in the way. Not real sure. Go forward, young fella, and help me out.
Arnold escapes again and is knocked down after a 2-yard gain on the scramble. It'll be 3rd and long. Campbell made the tackle. Holly?
Well, guys, Jackson Arnold told me that his greatest strength and weapon are his feet. He was a baseball outfielder. Yeah. You know, his dad was a running back at Wofford, and he said, when I was young, I was a running back for 4 years. He's very comfortable running the football. You can see, though, his ball security has improved. High and tight, 5 points on the ball. He's doing a nice job with his legs. Yeah,
he looks like a baseball player. You could see that quick delivery when they tried that trick play with the wide receiver to get it out there quick against a blitz. He's running 11 times already.
End around and tackled short of the first down is Jacob Jordan, true freshman. Zabian Brown, also the freshman, got him down, and here comes the field goal team.
Well, they're down now as far as dynamic playmakers on the edge of this offense. You get out on the perimeter, you're going against Zabian Brown and Jackson out there, the slot nickel there. Devontae Smith also trying to help out.
Zach Schmidt, an ugly duck hook in his first field goal attempt from 39. Missed from 10 yards closer to tie the game. Straight through. So Oklahoma has had no trouble moving the football. Defense playing well, and it's 3-3, 8:14 to go before halftime. See if Jalen Milroe can get the Tide attack going.
Saturday Night Football is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? And in part by Jersey Mike Subs. Be a sub above.
Great Heisman tradition. They're made just down the road in Del City, Oklahoma for the last 20 years. And that one on the left, I was shown great hospitality. I visited the MTM plant down there. That's the Heisman on the left that's actually going to go to this season's winner.
Oh, how about
3 weeks in New York. And no two trophies are the same. And by the way, they also manufacture the Heisman statues here and the Alabama National Championship coaching statues at Bryant-Denny Stadium, also made.
What a tour you had there, kid.
It was fun.
Not only the face of the Heisman ceremony, but now you're going down with a manufacture the trophy itself.
I figured 31 years of doing it. Let's finally see where these things are made.
That's cool.
They make a whole bunch of trophies there. The old Crystal Ball National Championship trophy was made there. Here's the Modelo playbook. Milroe bottled up so far.
Yeah, real good job. Brent Venables came in with a defense. They knew they'd get downhill. What a heck of a job here by Danny Stutzman, weaving through traffic, holding the edge. You know, with Milroe, he's going to bounce it from time to time. There's the freshman, Eli Bowen, doing his job. Look at the safeties downhill, expecting the quarterback run. He's run it 8 times tonight so far. He only has 3 yards rushing. So we always talk about, with Alabama, when Jalen Milroe's been a quarterback over the last couple of years, they find their rhythm, both running and passing. When he goes with his legs, it opens up every aspect. So far, they can't uncrack the code here in its offense so far in Norman.
And there's Jam Miller off the left side. Miller has a crease. Eventually, though, the Missouri game's an example. After kind of a sluggish start, they'll pound away and they'll pop one and then they'll get rolling.
Or a little thing like this. Nick Sheridan saying, let's crank up some tempo here. Let's try to get this Oklahoma defense on its heels.
And there's another one by Miller who spins for a first down. Only 2 productive plays by this offense. Downfield shots.
I like that little wrinkle. Like you said, at any moment, they're capable of finding they're that kind of zone that they can get in. And I like a little change of pace here. They go really quick with tempo. Now they're going to even get to the line of scrimmage, but not necessarily in a hurry.
If the running game isn't clicking, they can also use Miller and Haynes as receivers out of the backfield. They've been effective weapons in the passing game that are kind of extensions of the run. And what, flying downhill, hard hit delivered there by Stutzman and Peyton Bowen, the safety, actually.
They're mixing up their personnel groups too. That time they were going with more of a heavy look. Cuevas, the extra tight end, put in there, big body.
Second and 8. Milroe again has to dodge pressure, and he'll be brought down behind the line by Ethan Downs. They're swarming number 4.
Their eyes are in this backfield, and this time it's the outside man of Downs, who's been very, very disciplined tonight. See how quickly he's able to get into the backfield. Tyler Booker, the left guard, he's trying to pull to get out there to that edge, but because he's so quick to get and penetrate, expecting that QB run, just could not make the block by the left guard.
4 receivers out. Remember, they've had 2 long completions on third down. A free play as the Sooners jump. He presses it downfield and out of bounds. Williams tried to make a circus catch.
I think he caught that ball, but he was just out of bounds.
Oh, wow, he did catch it.
He did. I mean, they're going to get to 5 yards, but
there's a lot of centrifugal force. His body was spinning fast, and he still managed to hold on to it.
At the snap, 5-yard penalty, replay third down.
Still going to be 3rd and long after the 5-yard mark off.
He knew once he saw that, he said, where's my guy? Where's 2? Just throws it out there, and this looks like it's, well, he's out of bounds, but just the effort, just to make the catch, twist his body.
Needs 7 now. Williams in motion. He's stacked to the left. 3 receivers there. Milroe's looking that direction. Short throw across the middle. Tough start for C.J. Dupree. He's become a part of this offense. Couldn't hold on again, and it's 4th down.
Well, this defense is just really seeing these concepts. That was a mesh route underneath, maybe expecting man coverage. Ball goes right off of his hands, unable to secure it, but the safety's doing a good job of passing off those crossers and making it not necessarily so easy, but that was just a drop that time.
Milroe just 2 for 7, and those 2 long plays from the completions and about 3 drops so far in this Alabama offense. So Burnip not punting to his usual standard so far tonight. Will try to pin the Sooners back. That is ugly. That a hideous boot off the side of the foot. Karam's out of bounds at the 36. What's going on? It's a very reliable punter usually. The Aussie with the shank, and it's just 23 yards. 3-3 midway 2nd quarter.
Boog and Kevin with the Chick-fil-A move on the field. How about a stunner on the Plains right now, Boog? Auburn's offense, 3 touchdowns to start.
No doubt. I love what Peyton Thorne is doing, throwing the ball. That's an easy touchdown there.
Kirk picked Auburn this morning on game day. Tigers up 21-7 against A&M. Back to you, Chris.
Did you pick Auburn?
I did.
If you're
it's
wondering,
kind of a part of a reverse psychology type of pick for next week's Texas A&M game, but turns out it's on the right side.
Game day headed there as well. We'll be there on Saturday night. Aggies, even if they do fail to come back against Auburn, would still go to the SEC championship if they can knock off Texas. Holly, what do you have?
Well, guys, Deontay Lawson, the do-everything linebacker for Alabama, has been taken to the locker room and is questionable to return with a leg injury. It's a huge deal. He's the green dot. So Justin Jefferson, a second-year player in the program, will have the green dot now. The drop-off is big. Deontay sets everything up.
On the right edge, Robinson, broke free there. And he's a couple yards short of the marker.
We saw Chuck Nice blocked out there on the outside of the edge. Sharp as well. They continue to run the football. And now, as Holly just mentioned, Lawson, such a big loss, not just for filling gaps and helping this defense against the run, but as a green dot, a communicator, a guy that's played so much football. Significant loss for Alabama. Not just tonight. You start to think about the Iron Bowl. You start to think about beyond that. Hopefully he'll be all right.
Third down handoff up the middle, and they move to 6 again. It's an offense that averages 149 rushing per game. They've already exceeded that against Alabama with 4 minutes to go in the half.
Yeah, and a big part of that is of course, we got to talk about Jackson Arnold, but also, who would have ever thought this offensive line, with all the injuries they've had, trying to build continuity, would have this kind of success?
Around the right end, it's another solid first down gain for Gavin Sawchuk. We weren't sure he was going to be available. He's playing through some pain tonight.
Yeah, and a lot of times when you run the ball and you're outmanned, with the physicality up front, sometimes you wonder how they're going to do it. But what's been interesting is John Finley calling plays. 13 of 14 first down play calls have been runs. So it's not like they're throwing the ball to get back to the run game. They've been running a lot on early downs.
Pitch inside there. Kind of like a shovel pass to Robinson. Didn't fool the Tide. It's going to be third and very manageable. They just need 2 here.
Kane Womack, the defensive coordinator for Alabama, has done such a good job. We've talked every time we do Alabama. Imagine the shoes he steps in to fill with Nick Saban and the excellence and being the greatest to ever do it. And Kane Womack has been true to himself. His dad was a great defensive coach, helps him out, obviously gives him advice. But right now he's trying to find some answers to slow down this run game. And you want to get Arnold into obvious passing situations.
Arnold takes off on the fake pitch and easily converts another 3rd and short. And they're down near the Alabama 40.
Yeah, his legs, very clear that they came into this plan thinking, let's use his legs in a different way than you would with Michael Hawkins. It's more about him having that ability to lower his shoulder and give you some tough yards, get the eyes of that defense concerned with that threat, and then go to other areas where you create some matchup advantages.
Arnold this time from the pocket on the scramble. It's going to be the 13th rushing play of the night. Obviously not a design call there.
Yeah, but again, plays like that, right? I mean, when you have that athletic ability and the defense is going to lose their edge, that's one thing with Rushaw. He's a tremendous athlete, but that time peeking into the backfield, he just doesn't do a good job of setting the edge. And then eventually it's the backup Justin Jefferson in for Deontay Lawson, who has to chase him out of bounds.
Rushaw was playing coverage. There was nobody out in the pattern. He didn't close down the quarterback at all.
Gave him a hard, and there it is.
Yeah, the 2-minute timeout here. Oklahoma crowd wasn't sure what to think here. They showed up hopeful, but they are appreciative on their feet. 2 minutes to play in a first half that Oklahoma has dominated. 3-3.
The $7.
Well, Jackson Arnold has been a big story tonight. What a story he's been all year. He got benched, gets his job back, playing with a newfound confidence, a newfound respect for the position. It's been his legs and the offensive line doing their job. Been a big part of the plan and the way they wanted to attack this physical Alabama defense. 13 times he's carried it, and he's playing with such poise. Has not made any bad decisions. Just right now having a good feel for this scheme.
Pitch it inside, and that's about the 3rd time they've tried kind of that shovel pass action. And that was Jake Roberts, the tight end, knocked down by Rushaw just short of the marker.
And when the reason you see that is the defense reacts so quickly to that outside threat of a run that it opens up because of the way that defense reacts. If you can get it underneath to that shovel pass, there's a crease in there with that backside guard pulling. So they keep trying to go back to that to try to hit that crease and get vertical.
Bama defense will have to do without Deontay Lawson. Their leader is done for the night, we're told, after walking slowly to the locker room to have his leg checked out. This is Xavier Robinson. It's another easy conversion on a 3rd and short. And they've got another first down inside the 30.
It's the 4th drive into Alabama territory. They've had 20 plays now where they've been calling plays on the plus side. Compared to Alabama, only 7 on the night, and yet here we are still in a 3-3 game.
They've controlled the football. This is not a team that typically wins the time of possession battle. Off the play fake, Arnold tried to escape. John Campbell was close to grabbing a face mask. Arnold got away and battled back near the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, linebacker blitz, you're right. Jefferson, he comes on a blitz. He gets picked up by Robinson initially, works through it, and then throws that left hand and almost did get a hold of that face mask. Look how close he came. I mean, he grazed it. Fans now seeing that view. I don't think he grabbed onto it.
Shake of the head from Bill Lamagna to my left over here. Yeah, you have to actually clutch it and pull it, make a move on it. Justin Jefferson really having to step up. What a responsibility to have that green dot that Deontay Lawson so effectively wore. Check in with Kevin as they set up for this second down play.
Chris, Capital One halftime report minutes away. A day filled with surprises and upsets, and there's one brewing on the Plains. Highlights coming your way. Speaking of surprises, this score 3-3 in Oklahoma driving.
Really good job by the Oklahoma defense. They're taking away Jalen Milroe's legs, forcing him to be a passer. Not that he can't, but so far tonight he's struggling.
We'll explain why Tennessee is the biggest winner so far this weekend. Back to you, Chris and Kirk.
It's quite a convoluted stretch run. Those spots in the SEC championship game. Look forward to halftime. 51 seconds to go. And what has been a pretty surprising and impressive opening half for the 2 touchdown underdogs. Robinson's the back. They snap it at 1, and keeper Arnold gets a little help on the edge and scoots out inside the 20. He's up near 100 yards. He got 12 more that time.
Yeah, usually when you commit, he's reading this man, and when you commit that fast, usually you have a scraped linebacker to take the quarterback because the quarterback's going to keep it. Nobody's there. I'm shocked that with that kind of collapse down on the running back, you don't have anybody to account for Arnold.
Pancake block on the edge, sprung him. Around the end, Robinson shakes a tackle. Xavier Robinson headed to the pylon, dives, lost the ball. They signal touchdown. 18 yards of Oklahoma has taken the lead here. They'll make sure that ball broke the plane before it came out of his hand.
That's
there.
It. That left hand has a hold of the football as long as he broke the plane, securing the ball. Because it goes through the end zone. He's good right there. Right there, it's secure. Then it comes out of his hand, which would have been a touchback. You can see clearly he has it. It was really close, but he does have possession of that football for the touchdown. And I'll tell you, what's becoming a story is not just Jackson Arnold and the job he's doing tonight managing this offense, but it's the entire offensive unit. And we got to talk about this offensive line, the much maligned offensive line. They now have 205 yards rushing in the first half, averaging 7.1 yards a carry against Alabama.
Remember, Xavier Robinson's the guy that began on the scout team and played the first half, just kind of running the opponent's plays. A thankless job. Scores a touchdown against Alabama to put Oklahoma up in the final minute of the quarter.
Well, I thought he might be tackled by Keenan. Watch him initially right there. Keenan had a hold of him, but nobody's out there on the edge of that defense. They continue to get on the perimeter of the defense with success. We've seen Arnold get out there, and now we're seeing Robinson. Once he broke containment, you just wonder how much of not having Lawson, making sure everybody's in position, making sure the edges are protected, how much that might be affecting that defense. You can see the ball. There's the hand. There's the thumb. So
and that's a risky play.
Yeah, it really is.
The way Oklahoma's season's gone, more lost fumbles than anybody. You just hold your breath when he stretched that ball out there. Just kept the grip on it long enough. And that's a split second between cross the plane and drop it.
Well, the big adjustment I see for Alabama, besides getting more physical and taking a quarterback run away, is they got to secure the edges of the defense. Got to force Oklahoma to run between the tackles. They're getting outside too easy.
Alabama's run just 22 plays tonight, just 94 total yards as the Sooners run and shock the nation here tonight. Monday Night Football. The Harbaughs, John and the Ravens, Jim and the Chargers.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Monday Night Countdown at 6 o'clock. And the ball game's at 8 on ESPN, ABC. That's awesome.
That's great.
Thanksgiving weekend cap there.
Doesn't it look like Jim Harbaugh, you know, the last time he was with the 49ers, then he goes to Michigan, now he's back in the NFL. He's so much more relaxed compared to when he was coaching with the 49ers. He just looks like he's having a ball, and the team's really responded to his leadership. That'll be a fun one Monday night. Wow.
Milroe, design run, takes off, look out, flag comes out in the holding zone. Nothing going right for Alabama's offense.
Yeah, it's on 72 in the middle there, the center, Parker Brailsford.
Holding, offense number 72, 10-yard penalty, replay first half.
He's the cerebral leader of that offensive line, an excellent player, having a great year. But that hold, and this Oklahoma crowd, we wondered, would they show up? Would they sell their tickets to Alabama? That was a huge talking point this week. Would this place even be full?
Yeah.
This kind of game.
It sure is. I had fans when we were down there on the field pregame, and Peter's down there with me, fans yelling. They're saying, hey, yelling it, can we keep it close? Do we have any chance to keep it close? Here they are, up 10-3. They're starting to believe here.
Miller, nothing doing. So Alabama is going to get the football to begin the second half. There's going to be some conversations. Remember, this is must-win mode, right? They come in here with 2 losses.
Ooh, this is huge.
Cannot take a third as a heavy favorite in Norman. So the Tide will try to regroup. Sooners are sprinting to their locker room.
They sure are, man. Look at those guys. Woo! What a half.
You never know in college football, and this stretch run and this wild Southeastern Conference race, perhaps producing multiple surprises this Saturday. 10-3. Oklahoma with 205 rushing yards in the first half. Here's Holly with Brett Venables.
Well, Coach, how has your team found their ability to rush the football? Most importantly, your quarterback reading and reacting well with his legs.
Yeah, you know, they're in a great rhythm. The offensive staff has done a really good job of play design and with a lot of different entry points and types of runs that we're running right now, some play action. But we're doing a really good job putting hats on hats and running through trash and running with purpose and blocking and finishing runs right now.
Conversely, you're setting the edge so well. Jalen Milroe hasn't been able to bounce out. What do you see from your defense?
Yeah, fantastic. Again, we're executing the plan at a really high level. Great physicality at the point of attack. Really doing a good job of having 2 and 3 hats around him at all times.
Thank you, Coach.
It's going to be a heck of a half.
It will be. Thank you.
It was a gut-wrenching loss to Mizzou. Allowed 2 touchdowns in the last minute 9. A bye week to kind of regroup, rebuild the spirit, and Oklahoma has shown up looking good. Jalen Milroe waiting outside the tunnel, dapping up all of his teammates. They have work to do down 7 here in Norman. Capital One halftime report coming up after these messages. You're watching the SEC on ABC.
All right, here we go.
Set for the second half here in Norman, Oklahoma. The SEC on ABC. Saturday Night Football presented by Capital One. And the Sooners, big underdogs, dominating Alabama in the first half. Oklahoma running for 205 yards. Jalen Milroe, a career low, just 2 completions in the first half. Bama didn't have the football that much. A stunner so far. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Holly Rowe. Alabama still controls destiny to get to the SEC championship game, needing a win here and a win against Auburn. What do they have to do to turn this around?
You know, this is a team that wants to run Jalen Milroe, and it's not working out. Brent Venables putting everybody at the line of scrimmage. I think the adjustment is for Nick Sheridan, the play caller for Alabama. You're going to have to throw. You're going to have to throw the football more to go back to the running game. They're going to load the line of scrimmage. I wouldn't be shocked to see that the plan is to get Ryan Williams going downfield and making some plays.
There's the Sonic drive-in recap, and all eyes on number 4 Stutzman. Sets the tone early.
That was early. You know, they've done such a good job out on the edge, like we talked about, of this defense, mixing up looks, a lot of downhill attacking defensive looks, a couple drops by Alabama. So they're helping. I can see the frustration from Milroe, but I'm not saying just go air it out the entire second half, but I do think you're going to have to, if they're going to load up and they're determined to stop the strength of your team running the football, take some shots when you can. Try to stretch the field a little bit.
Low snap and a handoff to Miller, who tries to bounce it outside and cut it back and earn about 3 yards before Billy Bowman knocked him down. You got Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard. It's really kind of a two-receiver set. They've got tight ends who are capable but have had the dropsies tonight so far. 2nd and 7. There's a completion underneath. And that's Kobe Prentice, one of the complementary players this Bama offense, who perhaps could spend or get a bigger role in the second half.
Yeah. And when they blitz Kip Lewis right here, if you get pressure like this, you look to the outside, and you got receivers out there. That's just a quick hot read with a blitz from the linebacker.
3 receivers bunched right. They pitch it that area. Dangerous throw. Intercepted. Eli Bowen, the true freshman, swipes it as Milroe throws his first pick in the last 4 games, and this one could be crucial.
Well, that is all the true freshman, Eli Bowen. From the entire beginning, he knew what they were looking for. Look at him looking around. You got 3 receivers. It's showing you 2. They got 3 receivers. They think they've got numbers. He jumped that route, and by jumping the route, he put himself in position to be able to come up with that acrobat interception. But look at this. He got around with a really poor effort by Kobe Prentice. But he just kind of almost looked as if he was deking the quarterback, looking around like I'm confused, and then jumped the route.
Now the Sooners trying to cash it in, and the pass is bobbled and caught, knocked down hard at the 8-yard line is Xavier Robinson. Milroe just controlling the interceptions lately.
Yeah. And really, that was an important decision. He had 3 on 2. That's a good decision. A poor block by Prentice affected the play, but corners are taught. He knows he's going to make that throw. Anytime he sees 3 on 2, he knows the quarterback's taught to throw it out there, and he jumped it. Great natural reaction by a true freshman corner.
2nd and 5, slant, caught. It'll be 1st and goal. And all of a sudden change defense. The Tide trying to make a stop to avoid going down 2 scores here.
And, we've been seeing him run the football. Now you see the accurate arm with Jackson Arnold. Just cannot say enough about this guy and this offense and how different it looks from the games we've called in the past. You got to give Joe John Finley and Kevin Johns the scheme that they put together. Give them a lot of credit. Jackson Arnold, the offensive line. All of it. It's not just the execution and what we're seeing. It's just everybody pulling together here.
1st and goal. Arnold keeps it, fights, and a stop about a yard short of the goal line. Jahad Campbell wouldn't let him in. Malachi Moore helped out as well.
Side of the left guard, tight end, Bowers sharp. They're going to go fast here.
Line up, and Robinson slams down. No signal yet. He is stopped short.
He ran into a wall there. I think that was big Tim Smith who won that matchup with Weewu, the right guard. Big man against big man, and that one goes to Tim Smith.
Now they'll slow it down here, take some time on 3rd and goal, need a half a yard to go up 2 touchdowns early here in the 3rd quarter.
For the 27th play in Alabama territory.
Under center. Pitch on the edge to Robinson. Makes a cut. Touchdown, Oklahoma. A stunner brewing in Norman. And they make Milroe pay for that interception. Things just got a whole lot more urgent for the visitors.
Sure did. The interception by the freshman sets this up. They go up by 14.
Eli Bowen has had a tremendous freshman season here at 5'9". His pick put him in position. And the unheralded backup, Xavier Robinson, stepping up. 17-3 OU. Sure.
Let's take a peek at this, Chris, because I think the formation may have affected some of the communication here on this touchdown. Watch Malachi Moore and the confusion. They're just making sure everybody's on the same page. Remember, Deontay Lawson not in there. They react to the motion. Now you get a hat on the outside. Logan Howland, the left tackle, makes a nice block. So really good execution that time and a well-designed play. But Alabama, with that little wrinkle with the formation, just not quite able to get out on the edge of that defense.
What do you say, Holly?
Well, talking to Kalen DeBoer at the half, Deontay Lawson being out is a huge deal for this Alabama team. Not only does he call the plays, the green dot guy, but he is the calming presence on this defense as well as one of their leading tacklers. I did just hear Kalen DeBoer come over and talk to Jalen Milroe in the offense, though, and say, guys, we've got plenty of time. One play at a time, trying to escape this sense of panic that might be rising with the score, and just calm down right now and play some good football.
Good advice. Let's see if they can put that into action here. Milroe has already been frustrated before that interception. Now we'll try to take off in a scramble. Late pump fake. He gets around tackler there and is forced out of bounds.
Holly, I don't know if you could respond to this, but wind in the pregame was very noticeable. I don't know what it feels like down on that field, if it's an issue at all for either of these offenses. Okay.
It is windy, and they're going into the wind right now. It's against Jalen Milroe's face.
Okay.
There's a handoff up the middle and knocked down near the marker. And it's Justice Haynes. Obviously, we talked about the strong arm. It's not like he can't throw the ball into the wind.
No.
Two big plays in the first quarter were into the wind.
Yep. But it's not an easy night to throw the football. Really all across the country with that front moving through the Midwest. Last couple days, in fact.
Look at you all over the weather.
Well,
I'm impressed. Is that a low pressure thing going on, or what do we got?
No, usually I'm in charge of humidity.
Well, a little sideways hop by Miller.
And
a get for the first down.
Dew point's a big one.
Low dew point tonight, I think.
Yeah, I love that.
Should have been here Thursday. It was frigid.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get here, right, in November?
You could get some sideways freezing rain. We've had that before.
Had that for game day. We've been here.
Well, Alabama hasn't overcome a 14-point deficit to win in 6 seasons. We'll have to do it tonight. This could be a very, very damaging loss. Miller looking a lot more like the team, by the way, that lost in Nashville and Knoxville, and not the one that went to Baton Rouge and gave a knockout punch in the first round to LSU.
That's fair. And it's been that kind of season for Alabama. There are moments where you look at them and you say, this team can play with anybody in the country. And then there are moments like you just talked about, the Vanderbilt game and others, where they're just not quite clicking. They're going to have to find it if they're going to come back and win this game.
You said it, common denominator in those two losses. Milroe absolutely bottled up as a runner, as he has been so far tonight. And featuring the backs so far here in the third quarter, and that's a short gain for Miller.
Starting to get a little more of a surge there by that offensive line, and I loved what Holly said, hearing what the head coach, Kalen DeBoer, said. Hey, guys, listen, we're okay. We got a long way to, in fact, they put a drive together here. They're down one possession. So it's a great message for this offense to hear. But they got to start putting these drives together, and they got to put points up on the board.
Need about 1.5 yards to get this drive going on third down. Crowd is fully into it tonight. And maybe just enough. Miller, it's going to depend on the spot. It's right about the 46, and it is enough, barely, to move the sticks.
Getting closer and closer to midfield, doing a good job of mixing in their different formations and those personnel groups to get this defense to see different looks. See how that downhill, they continue to just attack downhill, especially there on short yardage. See if they try to take a shot again. If you get isolated, you got to have confidence in your guys to win downfield.
Milroe keeper, he was grabbed in the backfield and hauled down by big Dejon Terry. Quick moving 330-pounder.
Yeah, they are doing such a good job of sliding, angling, twisting, make it as tough as they can on the communication of this offensive line.
Tackles for loss, a big part of this defense's success all season long. It's another pick in the flat. Kip Lewis. Milroe can't get him. Pick six. Oklahoma building the lead. Wow.
He didn't see Kip Lewis, who was lined up in the middle of the defense, and then read the eyes of Milroe and just slid underneath of that throw, and then uses that speed to take it by Milroe into the end zone. He just didn't see him.
So Eli Bowen, with his first career interception, sets up Oklahoma's last touchdown. And then Kip Lewis, second pick this season, the sophomore from Carthage. And Alabama in serious, serious trouble now, down 3 scores. Yeah, there's time, but this is becoming an avalanche.
Well, they had 3 receivers to Jalen Milroe's right. Lewis is in the middle. He looks like he may be able to get it out there. See Lewis kind of stalking, reading the eyes of the quarterback before he stepped in front and had that interception.
21 is the margin now in Norman.
Saturday Night Football, presented by Capital One, is brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Local Chick-fil-A restaurants recognize the University of Oklahoma facilities team with a catered meal to thank them for all they do.
First thing that stands out, this is a tempo play. Alabama went fast. Look at the AT&T clicker. Look at Stutzman in the middle trying to make sure everybody, look at the communication by Alabama. Here's the linebacker that ends up getting out there, just kind of reading the eyes. He didn't ever see it. Never really felt Kip Lewis sliding out there to get in position to undercut that for that interception. Why they're throwing a ball way out there to Robbie Oots at 275 pounds, I'm not real sure. You didn't like the route of Kendrick Law on the inside. He wasn't even looking for the football. So not just a pick, but just a lack of execution that time by Alabama.
Yeah, pick six, a theme here. This is the loss at Vanderbilt there. He had a sack and a fumble in the 4th quarter. They battled, but they ripped down the goalposts and rushed the field. And then against Tennessee, pick in the end zone by Jermon McCoy. Will Brooks had another pick, and Bama lost, and the Vols were smoking cigars. And Kalen DeBoer now down by 3 touchdowns. This guy hasn't lost a November game since he was Fresno State head coach 2 stops ago.
Little urgency now from Jalen Milroe, down 3, scores.
Throw on the perimeter, and that's Jam Miller. They certainly have guys like Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard, capable of electric plays, but you would think they would play back and just not allow that.
Yeah, that's what I said. Now the game plan changes. Brent Venables changes the defense. Before it was about stopping the run. Now they're in more of a mentality of, hey, we got to stop the potential. Don't give up any easy throws now downfield. So the mindset changes not only for Alabama, but also OU.
There's a run by Miller. They move the sticks.
You know, Milroe, we keep talking about it, but the games we just showed and mentioned, you know, he averaged about 10 yards in those 2 games that they lost running the football. Tonight, doesn't have a yard, 11 carries and no yards running the football. In the game where ESPN Analytics, I think before this game started, Bama was favored to win this by, what, 81% chance of winning this game.
2-touchdown favorite. Make head of day in the SEC. Pump fake, Milroe thought about a downfield shot. Now he's going to have to escape pressure and has to just throw it away. It's about 7-8 rows deep in the crowd. Peyton Bowen, Eli's older brother, in hot pursuit there.
Yeah, he walked down right to this point. Backside, Milroe wants to get the ball out quick. Actually, a little bit of maybe a slant and go. But the coverage took anything he wanted to do away. Boy, Danny Stutzman right now all over the field, communicating, yelling, talking to the safeties, getting Billy Bowman and company on the same page. He is in control. Look at him in the middle of that defense.
Final game here wearing that Sooner uniform, which he's worn so proudly for 4 years. I believed him when he told us earlier this week didn't even give his heart and soul, and he made a speech to his teammates. Speeches only go so far. His example on the field is more important.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, you're so right, especially on senior day. How about getting off blocks here by this Oklahoma defense? Looks like it's Terry just getting off of that block by Pritchett. What a play by the big fella there.
Now it's 3rd and 12. You'd think that there's an SEC championship on the line for their team, the way this Oklahoma team is playing and the crowd energy. Play clock at 2. Barely get it off. Across the middle, broken up, incomplete. That was Bowman getting a hand in there in front of Jeremy Bernard, and it's time to punt.
I just wonder if he got there a little bit early. I know that Kalen DeBoer thought he did. I think he got over the top of him. Yeah, he did. He got away with a pass interference there. That would have been a first down for Alabama.
Tough judgment. It's a bang-bang play live. They don't get the flag. And the frustrations continue for Milroe. 4 of 13, 2 interceptions. And that punt will be down at the 1-yard line. One of the few bright spots for Alabama tonight. Sooners backed up, but up 3 scores. Caesar and the Allstate bus cruising around Norman here. Allstate, good hands play this weekend. A lot to choose from.
Well, we're going to talk about this Oklahoma defense. You know, what we've seen from them coming up with interceptions. Eli Bowen, the true freshman, jumping that was a great play. And then Kip Lewis reading the eyes of Milroe in that last series. Almost goes down by Milroe, but keeps his legs alive and gets a pick 6. What a great play by the linebacker.
Lewis made a pick 6 against Auburn. That's their only previous SEC win before tonight, and Lewis had the game winner at the end of that game. Plays a huge part in building this 21-point lead.
Was this?
You know, you fan, you're thinking one thing, right? Don't put the ball on the ground. No turnover.
The way the year has gone, that's kind of been their MO. Let's see what happens here.
They're going so well tonight. Xavier Robinson, he's played a part in that. Fights for about 3.
Well, you know, when this Alabama defense went out in the field, you know that's what those coaches are talking about, guys. Kane Womack and company saying, guys, let's bow up here. Let's see. Worst case for us, 3 and out. Best case for Oklahoma is, they want to try to get a first down and try to get this ball away from their own goal line. Do not want to turn it over down here.
Talked about the loss of Deontay Lawson out for tonight, what he means to this defense. Boom, Arnold gets the edge. He fooled the Tide defense, and he's around the corner, gets past Hubbard. LT Overton could not make the stop, but it's a first down.
Yeah, Malachi Moore tries to come down. He's got to work off 10 right there. That linebacker, or the tight end, Sharp, does a good job getting just enough of him. But boy, Alabama probably expecting more of an interior run, but he pulled it once again on that zone read and able to get around the edge. It's like a broken record.
Career high, Kirk. Look at that, 107 yards and counting.
Losing the edge of the defense. Big problem.
Robinson, again, he gets around the left side again. That's a solid gain and first down. The importance of this offense, struggling as they have, especially on 3rd down, to make gains like that in 1st and 2nd down. They've been successful from the start.
Yeah, it was the whole goal of the game. I mean, they wanted to try to avoid. It's been disastrous all year. 3rd down and long for them with the line issues, the injuries to receiver, quarterbacks. Bit of a revolving door. 3rd and long has obviously been a problem. So they had to be able to run the football tonight to take some of the pressure, and they've been able to do it, running at almost 80% of their snaps tonight.
Keeper again. That time he's going to be swarmed by Overton and dropped behind the line of scrimmage. Demarion Latham got there too, and it's going to be 3rd and 6.
Latham is trying to set an edge at times, and he's 280 pounds. He is a big body in this scheme that they're running tonight. 22, LT Overton on the other side.
They're asking him to play kind of an outside linebacker at times at that weight with P. Robinson out.
Tough to do.
And the Sooners keep this going. And looking to pitch it is Arnold. Now he's going to keep it, and he's going to be dropped for a loss. So that time they're all over the quarterback. Jahad Campbell makes the stop behind the line, and they force the punt.
Yeah, that was much better job. I'm going to give Devontae Smith a lot of credit. You'll see him just right there. He's on the slot. You'll see him fight to be able to get off of that block, keep his outside shoulder free, get off of another block, and then eventually Campbell is able to make the play. But 8 deserves a ton of credit for making that play. An area that's been a problem is the outside, defending the outside, losing the edge, and that time he stepped up on that 3rd down.
Ryan Williams waits at the Alabama 36. Luke Elzinga hasn't been busy tonight. And the lefty, a low kick, trying to keep it away from Williams. Did that touch an Alabama player? Williams thought so because he went after the ball. It touched one of the up men, and number 2 was scrambling.
But definitely hit a player, and he had such a good view. He definitely thought that it hit one of his own players. That's why he decided to take that chance. He wanted to go get the football. Smart heads-up play. They're recognizing that that ball hit his own player. Yep, hit his foot, right foot.
Daniel Henderson there. And number 2, that would have been just about lights out, right, if they get a turnover there.
Good job, Ryan Williams. Oh, yeah, for sure.
2:29, that's it left in this 3rd quarter. Urgency on this possession to reach the end zone for Alabama. Their best starting field position. Milroe, pocket closes down, and down he goes. Mason Thomas, our Mason Thomas with the sack. That's what he does best.
Now that's a mismatch off on that side on this play right here. Able to use his speed to be able to dip, get under, actually gets held in the process, and still is able to get around that right tackle there, Pritchett.
It's the first sack of the night for the Sooners. Milroe this time has time, but delivers a wide throw. Williams makes the catch, but couldn't do anything afterward because he had to leap to grab it, and it's going to be 3rd and 8.
Oklahoma, you know, it's that time they decide to just rush 4, able to drop 7 guys into coverage. It's the beauty of having some good pass rushers where you feel you can win one-on-one, especially on Proctor, the left tackle, and Pritchett, the right tackle. You don't always have to dial up pressure and leave your guys on islands. See if they bring pressure this time. They're going to walk their backers up.
And late shift to the right side by Williams. Play clock winding down at 5. You got to hurry here or spend a timeout. Then they'll have to spend one. DeBoer, boy, you need every timeout you've got when you're down 21 points, and they were just not set up in time. Is this 4-down territory? Do they have 2 plays to get the 8 yards at this point?
I think you have to. I mean, we're almost coming up into the 4th quarter. You're down by 3 possessions. It just becomes a numbers game. How many times are you going to get the football? Well, Chris, here we are. All these upsets. We knew it was going to be chaos. We have Texas A&M right now playing at Jordan-Hare, and in a battle, they were down 21-0 early, came all the way back to tie it up at 21, and now it looks like Auburn has taken a lead 28-21. So we'll see what happens with A&M, who has Texas, of course, next week. But the big winner tonight, if they're sitting there watching, is Georgia.
Georgia and Tennessee very much back in the equation. A loss tonight drops Alabama to 4-3. Again, they came in controlling their destiny to get to Atlanta. Now they could be out of that game and perhaps out of the CFP. That's going to be out of their hands and in the committee's hands.
Yep.
But there's still hope here if they can get something out of this possession. Need 8 on 3rd. Milroe's running all the way. And Jalen Milroe finally breaks free. He hammer away at the ball. Mason chased him down, but he picks up 11 and the first down.
Yeah, I'm with you. Our Mason Thomas came with that karate chop behind him, trying to dislodge the football, but good strength there by Milroe to hold on to that ball. Boy, Oklahoma keeps, look at the bodies coming on, bodies going off, trying to hold on and keep these guys fresh. Watch 32 to our right. He chases his play down. He'll come in at the end, try to knock it away.
Longest run of the night. Now it's a reverse and a flea flicker. Milroe flips it down to Bernard. Bernard escapes. Jeremy Bernard, after all that, has got a gain of about 9 inside the 35.
Well, anytime you see that, you always think you're going to try to get it to your play. Oh, boy, Terry is now down. A couple Oklahoma players. Woody Washington as well. He got behind that convoy, man, and picked up probably one of the bigger gains we've seen.
I think they were hoping for more. After all that, Bernard got the catch and had a bunch of blockers.
Yeah, wait till you see watch the entire offensive line go with the handoff. Look at all of them. All of these guys are just going to stay over there. And then look, once he catches this, if he's able to catch that clean, it saves him some time, and he's still got a good game. But you're right, with all those blockers.
He slipped a little bit, right?
Yeah, right here. Ball's a little bit behind him. Does a good job not letting the knee touch or the forearm.
You see it's kind of friendly fire there.
Yeah, both of those guys went down.
Colliding. It was Woody Washington in the corner, and the 335-pound nose tackle, Terry, walking off slowly.
Terry's been playing great tonight. End of the day, you look at the line of scrimmage where we thought Alabama had a huge advantage, and the difference has been Oklahoma with the defensive line and with their own offensive line. It's been remarkable and unpredictable to think that would happen.
Final play of the third quarter. Milroe in trouble again, escapes and has to just throw it away. And a big roar from this home crowd, loving the defensive effort they've seen tonight from Oklahoma. Alabama in trouble, down 3 scores at the end of 3 in Norman. Can the Sooners finish the job? Finish off the Tide. Back after this message and a word from your local ABC stations. You're watching the SEC on ABC.
Let's take a look. It's a little thing, but watch the left tackle Proctor here. And if he picks up this block, you don't know if it's a tight end or 74, but watch this right here. We got 3 guys blocking one. We got 2 guys blocking here, and we got a back trying to pick up a 300-pounder, and if you pick it up, it's a touchdown to that seam. But he is unable to see it because of the pass rush. Just not great protection on that last play.
And no protection for the quarterback here as Ethan Downs bursts through on 3rd and 2. They go backwards, and now it's 4th down. You got to have it.
But how good are the edge of the defense playing tonight? For OU, this play's going to come alive here on this 4th down.
Downs, one of those seniors, putting on this jersey for the last time in Norman. 3 yards, desperately needed if there's any hope for an Alabama comeback here. Monroe shifting folks around.
Way.
Wow.
Not quite on the same page. Play clock down to 5.
They just get it off. Milroe trying to create in the move, launches to the end zone for Williams. Touchdown! He got a foot down somehow, some way.
He did.
And Alabama is alive because of an incredible play on the move by Milroe. There is a marker down. They're having a conversation back at the 35, so let's wait.
He got this, obviously got the snap off. The foot got down. If it holds up, it's a touchdown. That's true freshman against true freshman. Throw it up and give him a chance.
Illegal touching. Offense number 2 was covered up when the ball was snapped. 5-yard penalty, loss of down, 1st down.
So it doesn't count because of the alignment pre-snap. You said Ryan Williams was covered up, Bill, on that play. Was lined up slot right.
I personally don't see the cover up there.
Help me out. Here's Ryan Williams. And here is the outside.
He is not covered up.
Well, I've got 2 guys in the backfield to the right and 1 guy up on the line of scrimmage.
Watch this, Bill, at the end. The flag comes in right here. Let it roll at the end of this play. There's the flag. I don't know why the flag would come in late like that.
Kalen DeBoer is.
And Kalen DeBoer definitely
This is not the norm for him. He is losing it.
It's an incorrect call.
Well, it's a huge one because instead of a touchdown on a 4th down play for Alabama, Oklahoma's got the football at the 41.
It just
they stop and look at this?
It just doesn't make any sense. If it were a receiver not covered, it would be called at the line of scrimmage instantly, not 5 seconds after the play's already played out, down by the sideline.
It's not reviewable.
It wasn't reviewable technically in Austin either. This is the same crew there that was doing the Georgia-Texas game. We're wondering
Chris,
what the delay was.
Yeah, here we are down at the bottom, and again, no flag yet, no flag, and then it comes in late.
Wow.
I'm perplexed by it also.
I think perplexed would not be my adjective for Kalen DeBoer. He was irate. Meanwhile, Oklahoma takes over here now.
Yeah, and by the way, you know, he's one of these coaches that when he acts like that, he's not wrong. You know, he's not a guy that's just going to go down there for fun to work the officials. He's a quiet coach on the sideline until he feels like he's been wronged. And clearly, unless we missed something, I can't imagine what it is.
Maybe Bill can get some clarification from the SEC headquarters. But that play, it was a spectacular pitch and catch. Would have made it a 2-touchdown game and sent the Sooners right back to work. And Bowers Sharp is involved as a receiver for the first time. 16-yard gain. Another look at it.
Well, there's the line right there. The black is the line of scrimmage. You got Ryan Williams there in the middle. I'm still lost on that one. Ken, I don't know what to tell you.
See if we can get some clarification. Meanwhile, Oklahoma, that's not their problem. They're right back to work. Catch by the tight end, using all this play clock now. Arnold on the move, checks it down, and that's another catch by Bowers Sharp. Came in with the leading receiver in this team at this point.
Man, what you got to love is that Brent Venables has told his offensive coaches, hey, we're not going to pull it in and just work clock here. We're going to continue to attack. Gives you the idea of the mindset of the Sooners throughout this entire game. Joe John Finley being smart, but also being aggressive here after getting the ball back.
Up the middle, plowing ahead. Jackson Arnold still just 68 yards passing. He had 67 in the last game against Missouri, so it's not been an air show here, that's for sure. But they have found a way to manufacture rushing yards.
And the greatest thing you can say if you've watched OU football this year, it's not about the fact he's thrown for 68 yards. It's the fact that they're taking care of the football. They're not making mistakes. He's managing the game. He's in total control. That's what you love to see. They're sustaining drives. They're eating clock. They're keeping Milroe on the sideline. Everything you want to see, and not to mention over 100 yards rushing.
Arnold on the move here will be knocked out of bounds. Malachi Moore forced him out for a loss.
Let's go back and take a peek at the Ryan Williams catch that we didn't get a chance to celebrate. Look at the catch again. The body control, the left foot, possesses the ball, the foot is down. That's two great true freshmen going at it. What an adjustment back, and then the awareness to get that left foot down was spectacular, but taken away with the call.
Sooners send out the punt team. Elzinga trying to pin Williams and the Tide back deep.
And they're happy to just keep that clock moving.
And then a false start won't back up the punter 5 yards here. One thing about that drive, it didn't use up a whole lot of clock. They did throw the ball, got a first down, got things moving.
Still 4th down.
Would have liked to chew a little bit more clock. And look now, Kirk, but Devontae Smith, another one of those stud players, in the front seven for Alabama's going into the injury tent. Zinga angles it for the corner, and Williams lets it bounce. Now he'll field it at the 1. It was going to bounce into the end zone apparently, but decided to grab it at the 1, and the Tide are backed up.
I think he was going to just let it bounce, and the ball bounced right to him, and he instinctively grabbed it instead of getting out of the way of it. I think he thought the ball was going to bounce away to his right, out to our right, and instead it bounces right to him, and he instinctively grabs onto it.
And you're watching the SEC on ABC, a stunner in the stretch run. Oklahoma still in control, and this has been a party. You know that they haven't beaten a Power 5 team in this place. Their home wins this season as the Litmus Student Section of the Year contest gives you a chance to vote for the Sooners here. Go to the Taco Bell app to learn more. Again, they haven't beaten an FBS team since September. That was at Auburn. They have waited a long time in a very sobering, frustrating season, debuting in the SEC for a moment like this tonight. This is a game that these seniors will not forget if they can close this one out, go out winners. This crowd didn't know what to expect when they came in here, but they didn't expect this.
No, not at all, and it's just says a lot about Brent Venables and the culture, what they're building here at Norman with him as a head coach, the things they have faced, the challenges, especially offensively, that they've chased with injuries, making a change to a play caller mid-year.
From the end zone, Milroe launching right down the middle and way over the head of Williams, who was well covered and bracketed that time.
You know, if you're watching a game like this, oh, you got another guy down in this defense.
Hayden Woolard, defensive end. I'll tell you what, talking about the injury you saw earlier to Deontay Lawson, I have to say, I don't mean to be a buzzkill with this exciting new playoff era, but you got more games than ever. You got less depth than ever at the elite level of this sport with the portal having talent dispersed around, which is fun. It makes for upsets and surprises, but boy, it's going to be a battle of attrition. Watch this postseason.
Oh, yeah.
Star players going down and a whole lot of folks having to step up. We'll take a break.
Saturday Night Football is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? And in part by the all-new Sonic Queso Smashers. Live free. Eat Sonic.
Down 3 touchdowns, backed up and facing a 3rd and 8. Milroe in the end zone. Williams slot left. Check it down. One-handed grab made by Josh Cuevas, the tight end, to keep a faint flicker of hope alive across the 30.
Yeah, he was just in protection. He's just trying to help out, and then leaks out late as a check down. Good job of finding him. And you're right. He just put that big right paw up and brought it in.
Milroe again from the pocket. He'll be tracked down and dropped. There's a flag down. Trace Ford made the play. Milroe down on his hands and knees on that Oklahoma sideline after the play.
Obvious holding call. It's Jaden Roberts, 77, that will get called for that. Man, I hope he's able to get up. A tough night, obviously, for him, for the whole Alabama team.
Holding. Offense number 77.
Offensive line over there to circle him right in front of the Sooners bench.
It looked like Trace Ford, when he finally caught up to Milroe, he sacks him, and all of his weight ends up coming down on top of Milroe. Always a dangerous thing for a quarterback. Sacks him and then watch him finish the play. And that's where I think Milroe really started to grimace.
Hard to tell from that whether it's anything serious or obvious. Maybe upper body.
Yeah. All that weight came down on top of that. You know, never know. You want to speculate, but he looks like he's fine walking. Going to come off the field here.
Ty Simpson, redshirt sophomore out of Tennessee, will come in. He's a He's a guy who's been in the program 3 years. They have confidence in him to run the offense. Obviously, very different skill set than Milroe, but he can spin it.
I feel like when you look at, I don't know if they're built for this. And I don't know who's built when you're down 24-3, but I'm saying when you're in obvious passing situations, Ryan Williams, dynamic play, wide receiver. But look at the rest of their receivers. Bernard's a slot receiver who's good. Kendrick Law is a physical receiver built more like a running back. Those long receivers that can get downfield with length and speed, you don't see them out there.
Not the depth in that receiver room they're used to seeing in Alabama in their glory years, that's for sure. So here comes Ty Simpson on 1st and 20 after the penalty. Short throw, and it's dropped by Richard Young out of the backfield. Trace Ford, who just made the play against Milroe, who's coming back in, pressured Simpson that time.
Yeah, I mean, they have been able to rotate bodies, and Trace Ford looks healthy, applying pressure. He looks like our Mason Thomas.
He's another one of those seniors, Ford is, out of nearby Edmond, Oklahoma. Milroe back for 2nd and 20. Took a look at the front, now looks at the sidelines, but has to hurry. Already spent one timeout in this kind of situation. Just gets the snap off. Pressure comes late. Milroe dropped, flips it up just before going down to Richard Young. How did he get that out of there?
Well, you know, the way these tackles are playing tonight, it's a miracle he did get it out. Our right tackle Pritchett has had his hands full. These defensive ends aren't the biggest, but they're winning with speed. Pritchett and Proctor both struggling off the edge against the speed to the outside all night.
Kind of a blind flip there, but it's still 3rd and 13. Milroe from the pocket down the middle. Catch made by Bernard, and Jeremy Bernard does have a first down to the 43.
He got hit again. Ford almost, I think that he may have grazed the back of the helmet of Milroe that time as he got rid of that football.
Wasn't ready for the snap and throws it near sideline. Catch made by Bernard again. Short gain as he is spun out of bounds.
Man, with the pressure he's under, these receivers barely have time to run routes. I mean, they're getting 8-10 yards downfield, and Milroe's either got to step up or step out away from pressure. It's like the Sooners are going to call a timeout.
Midway point of the final quarter. Brent Venables' team looking for a signature win after what's been a really disappointing season. Rankings brought to you by Goodyear. Dylan Gabriel and the Ducks idle. They are now the only undefeated team in college football as Indiana went down. Army getting clobbered by Notre Dame. How far does Indiana fall? That's a big question. Ole Miss with their 3rd loss.
SMU.
Deep trouble.
SMU is going to start moving up into that picture, you would expect. Clemson, South Carolina, winner next week. Going to be moving up.
Penn State hung on. And again, we talked about Texas A&M still trying to come from behind. They trailed all night at Auburn and continued to be down. 28-24 last time we looked. Off the timeout by Oklahoma. Pre-snap penalty.
Delay of game. Defense number 11 for making abrupt actions that are not part of normal defensive movement. 5-yard penalty. Let's go 2nd down.
Kobe McKenzie, an abrupt movement, not part of normal defensive play.
Well, he's right over top of the center, and he's just trying to intentionally get him to snap the ball or make an offensive lineman jump. Good job by the umpire and the refs there making the right call there.
Makes it a first down, moves the football into Oklahoma territory at the 47. Milroe flips it across the middle. That's Cuevas, the tight end, who's made a couple of catches here in the 4th quarter. First down at the 35.
Yeah, again, they're rushing for a little bit of a twist up front, not bringing pressure. Linebackers playing man that time, so it opened it up for Cuevas.
Tempo, of course, for Bama. Milroe, long throw from the pocket, broken up by Eli Bone. I had that pick earlier. Trying to find Williams just a little bit late with it. Holly, what have you got in the injury front
Well, guys, they called that defensive timeout because Kip Lewis, the terrific linebacker for Oklahoma, had to take himself out of the game. He is not in right now in this drive, and you've seen Alabama attack where he normally is.
Lewis, of course, had that pick 6 from his linebacker position. Williams slot left. It's Bernard who comes across in motion. Sooners rush 5. Milroe over the middle, and it's dropped just a little bit behind Jam Miller, but a catch the running back should have made.
Yeah, even when they don't get sacks, they're affecting Milroe. I mean, as he's releasing this ball, both of these tackles, it's just been the worst night you can imagine for Proctor and Pritchett. Every single time there is pressure to the outside, and as he released the ball, he was feeling it on his left side. They had a lot of room on that underneath route there to Miller out of the backfield. It was a great route. He just didn't quite have enough time. Like I said, it's hard to get downfield when your quarterback has less than 2.5 seconds to throw a football.
3rd and 10. Has time here. They rush 4. Tried to find Bernard on the sidelines. There's a flag out. Holding zone here. Trace Ford again made penetration.
Yeah, and there was contact on Milroe after he threw the football. It's like it is the hold.
Well, it's 3rd and 10 and incomplete. You'd think they'd decline the hold.
Holding. Offense number 8.
Tell you,
that penalty is
game
declined.
ball. The game ball
4th down.
goes to so many different people, but these defensive ends of Downs, Ford, and Thomas deserve so much credit for the job they're doing and being able to apply pressure. And even when they don't get there, look at that, causing a hold. They've been using the tackles, not working out. This time they used a tight end.
Alabama's got to have 10 here. Keep this drive alive and keep hopes alive of a massive comeback.
You better chip, help these tackles.
Bernard and Williams shift to the left. And it was so important to play as much as he did not want to do it. Kalen DeBoer had to spend a timeout. Again, little slow. They're bringing guys from one side of the field all the way across a lot tonight, and it's chewing up time with the play clock winding down. Let's go to Kevin.
Chris, update from the Plains 4th quarter. Texas A&M clawing back, down 4, 4th down, and Auburn's defense makes the stop right here. You'll see a flag. That was on the offense, so it's a turnover on downs. A&M just got the ball back, down 4 currently on ESPN. Back to you.
Talking about teams into the bottom of the conference, Auburn, Oklahoma, I mean, they've struggled. They are just fighting like heck on home field to knock off teams.
And maybe the leader in the clubhouse in that vein, Billy Napier in Florida. I mean, I cannot say it enough how impressive it is in this day and age to see teams still fighting when they're sitting there right around 500. It tells you a lot about those teams and their futures and their culture.
Well, I agree that they're 1-5 in the league coming in.
Yeah.
That's what's really impressive to me. Here comes pressure. Milroe hit as he throws. It's going to be intercepted. Picked off by Woody Washington, and that should be the dagger to a huge senior day celebration in Norman. Our Mason Thomas, huh?
Our Mason Thomas. I just circled him, just talked about Ford, Thomas, Downs, all 3 of these guys. And again, the tackles have not done the job, so they try to bring in the tight end. It was a holding call in the previous play. Now he's going to line up out here on the right side. Here's Cuevas again trying to help out. And our Mason Thomas, one of the best pass rushers in the SEC this season, does a great job of, again, getting after him. Front side, football goes up in the air. And this Oklahoma defense, Brent Venables had them dialed in and ready to play football tonight.
3rd interception by Venables' defense. Takeaways he knew needed. Had to win the turnover battle tonight. Washington, after making that pick, slow to get up. Attended to by the athletic training staff. I saw Danny Sutzman down on one knee after that play. I wasn't sure if he was shaken up or if he was just taking a moment to take in what this night has meant. Really the consummate Sooner. his whole career. He took a huge responsibility to keep this team juiced up, inspired, motivated. And when he talked to us earlier this week about what it meant to put on that crimson jersey one last time at home, man, I believed him. I think his teammates believed him.
What a career.
Yeah. There he is right there in the left.
Yeah, there it is.
Just taking it all in one last time.
There's Jackson Arnold giving him some love, man. What a legacy to leave behind. In his times, it can be a world of individuality and your own individual brand and NIL. And here's Danny Stutzman just leading by example.
The man, Kirk, who gave a lot of his NFL NIL money to the walk-ons in this team. He made a beautiful speech talking about their contribution to the program and how he could share some of his earnings with them. That's a rare dude. He's going to play on Sundays because he runs really well at 240, and he'll make a bunch of tackles, and then he can do whatever he wants after that because he's just got it. Three second-half interceptions by this Oklahoma defense. They stopped the run early, forced Bama into passing situations, forced Milroe into some mistakes, and the pass rush just got cranked up here in the fourth quarter.
It's funny when you look at a guy like Danny Stutzman, you look at his career, you think about what he'll do in the future. And it's almost like watching Peyton Wilson for North Carolina State. You just knew that he was going to fit in somewhere in the NFL. He ends up with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Danny Stutzman's that kind of guy. He's going to go somewhere where they'll be able to take advantage, not just of his skill set, but he'll positively impact culture in whatever locker room he goes into.
That's beautifully said. The intangibles and then measurables are pretty good too.
No doubt. No doubt.
Arnold, you saw young quarterback and the veteran linebacker, a nice embrace in that last stoppage of play. What a night he has had. Because what he had to put up with in the modern era of being under a microscope here. Didn't play well, he knows it, but it was sort of blamed for a lot of things that were not in his control. Injuries, protection, a lot of that stuff.
But, you know, when we were here earlier, when they played, I think it might have been Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee.
The game just moved fast. It looked like he felt like he had the weight of the world, and he looked like he was pressing. It looked like he was trying to make plays that maybe weren't there as a young quarterback with all the hype and the buildup. And so I think getting sat down and having Hawkins step in for a couple games, I think that probably was the best thing for him.
Arnold takes off again, breaking tackles. Jackson Arnold, dream night continues. Well over 100 rushing yards now.
Well, he's been doing it all night with his legs. You know, Hawkins is a dynamic runner, but Jackson Arnold reminding people he's a physical runner that's got some speed himself. Smart decision to slide. But again, I think I talked about how
that was to the bench.
It was. I talked about how he came back, I think, better equipped after being benched. I think it gave him different perspective. And you got to give him a lot of credit for not going in the tank when his starting job got taken away from him. Went back to work, stayed upbeat, stayed positive. Brent Venables and others trying to make sure he stayed engaged. And man, has it paid off for him now that he's got the keys back to this offense.
His 23rd rushing play of the night. Holly?
Well, guys, not only did Jackson Arnold stay engaged, but when we asked Coach Venables why he felt his team might play well tonight, he said because the leadership of this team has been leading these guys. They are making sure that we are resilient. When we asked him who the leaders on this team are, he named a couple of guys, upperclassmen, and then he said Jackson Arnold. And we said, wait a minute, he's a leader after all he's been through, and that will tell you something about this young man. He hasn't hung his head, he's shown up, and he's been an example to his teammates.
Because there's been some talk show chatter around here with the struggles of the offense. You know, he's already played for 3 different offensive coordinators, by the way, since he got here, because Jeff Levy was the OC when he first got here. Of course, he takes a Mississippi State job. Luttrell is fired. Now you got Joe John Finley, and the big topic is who's the next OC, and will Jackson Arnold want to stick around, or will he hit the portal in this modern era? That's been a lot of the chatter around here. That may calm down a lot.
Who knows after tonight? But boy, Joe John Finley, you know, we're talking a lot about some of the people that had a big night. This guy was asked to do some things that aren't always easy in the middle of the season. Take over as a play caller, and of course Kevin Johns and others have helped him out. But they deserve a lot of credit for putting the scheme together, continuing to believe in this group despite all the injuries, and they put a heck of a plan together tonight.
Xavier Robbins has been a part of the plan. So 200-yard rushers against Alabama. That does not happen that often.
There's a look at Kevin Johnson, as you know, was at Duke last week. Chris, so I would have said pregame, all right, Oklahoma's going to throw for 68 yards tonight. Who's going to win the game? I mean, it would have been obvious, right?
If you'd have told me Oklahoma's going to rush for 252, I would have said, wait, I know your schedule's busy.
Right.
You're a little fuzzy in the brain.
Right.
You're doing too much here. What's going on?
Right. 252 on the ground. You don't need to throw for much.
Oh, I tell you what, I saw Barry Switzer last night, 87, cocktail in hand, having a good time. All the old-time Sooners love to see from this kind of rushing before. That's the same scheme, but the same kind of chewing up yards on the ground.
Yeah, and chewing up clock.
And meanwhile, long faces on the Alabama sideline. They came in here off that big win in Baton Rouge, full of belief. They've been surging, and I think in control of their destiny. You'd expect them to win this one. You'd expect them to beat Auburn at home. You'd expect them to go to Atlanta. All of that is coming unraveled here.
Sure is.
So they haven't had as many as 3 losses since 13-year streak, and that is about to end with loss number 3 tonight. One of the longest in history without having 3 losses. We're 1 short of what FSU did in the Bowden Glory years, and thinking about the Rockne years at Notre Dame. So offense on the field on 4th and 2. I would call for a keeper maybe. Nope, they hand it off up the middle and move the sticks.
Robinson has run well tonight. He's complimented Jackson Arnold in that backfield. Over 100 yards himself.
Now this has been a lot more than a sentimental send-off for these Oklahoma Sooners. This has been a celebration a long time in the making. 2 minutes.
Kevin Agati back in the studio. Remember when Texas A&M was down 21-0 to Auburn? Aggies have scored 31 of the last 38 points. Amari Daniels won't be denied. 31-28, Texas A&M, under 3 minutes to go on the Plains on ESPN. Chris Kirk, back to you.
Don't think they're necessarily a team built for electric comebacks, but that is a heck of a job. And if they hold on there, the stage set in College Station next Saturday night, Aggies and Longhorns.
Last time was 2011. Those two teams got together.
It was a classic game. The headline is they're back playing each other. The subplots are also extremely tasty, with a trip to the SEC championship game on the line as well. College game day built by the Home Depot. Back to College Station for the 2nd time. Remember the bookending the season. You guys were there for the Notre Dame game, right?
Yep. Looking forward to getting back in there. The Thanksgiving weekend. Got a Black Friday game in Kansas City with the Raiders and the Chiefs. Take it in late that night. Friday night, be ready to roll for game day in the morning.
It's like some folks are fixing to rush the field here. They're perched on the wall down there in the end zone. Why not keep it? And a little stiff arm, and is slammed down hard. Malachi Moore, frustration showing in that tackle. This was a thriller here. Remember, Acho threw it across the middle, and A&M thought they had it, and then number 6, McCoy had other ideas. Rumbling, bumbling. This is I think it was a Thanksgiving game. Justin Tucker, whatever happened to him?
Man, turned out to be pretty good.
Right through.
Pretty good. Little precursor for a pretty good career.
That was if memory serves me, President Herbert Walker Bush was at the game. That was a special event there. Aggies came up short. Texas broke their hearts, and right back in that same field next Saturday night as SEC rivals for the first time.
Just want to get all this out real quick. They're already coming out on this field here.
Another premature field rush. Goalposts are down.
Let's see if we get people tackled here by the security.
You know, they had to clear people off after a 13-minute delay in Tempe to play one more play.
What part of you think the clock's in? You think they don't see the clock? They just see other people running and they just take off like sheep? They just take off?
Stampeding sheep. I don't know what they were thinking. I mean, I think they're thinking that it's a huge win, and they have not had anything like this in a long time. Really haven't. You're talking about that set 2017, I believe it was, that TCU came in here ranked top 10. But you know, it's TCU. It's not Alabama. With all due respect.
It's gonna be a good effort to get these lads cleared off the field. Billy, let me hit this. Sooner defense held Alabama to the fewest points in 20 years. 3 points. Last time was 0-4 against South Carolina. They forced 3 turnovers, including a pick 6, and they hold Jalen Milroe to 7 yards rushing. What a night for Brent Venables in this defense. I mean, that's as good as it gets.
So the last time they didn't score a touchdown was that 9-6 field goal fest against LSU, which they avenged in the championship. Here's the OU defense you're talking about.
And it's been from the word go. I mean, it's been defending the run. It's jumping, playing with instincts from the true freshman Bowen. It's been taking away everything that this Alabama offense had to offer. Controlling things, the pass rush. Once Alabama got into obvious passing situations, Trace Ford, R. Mason Thomas, Ethan Downs, everybody making plays off that edge and making it tough on Jalen Milroe. What a win for Brent Venables. Like I said, he's been in the middle of a storm here.
You know, the unscripted nature and the beauty of sports. You know, one team comes in here, all the championship dreams to play for, riding a crest. Alabama was heavily favored for a reason. One team here, home team, playing for pride and the possibility of a minor bowl game, but mostly for pride. And yet this performance happens. It's incredible. This is a stretch run we've never seen, because the postseason format is one we've never seen before. We're just beginning to understand the implications. And upsets weren't invented today, but you just look in this conference and then around the country today, the things that happen where teams that were supposed to win didn't handle business, and teams given no chance like this one shook up the world.
And it really challenges these teams that are expected to win, because the team in that underdog role shows up with a chip on their shoulder. We've seen it not just this week, really the last 3 or 4 weeks. And the teams that show up angry week in and week out find a way to get upset about whatever people are saying about you, whatever they're disrespecting you or doubting you. That's how you show up ready to go in the modern game. And Oklahoma tonight, Florida showed up that way. Just all over the country, we've seen teams showed up engaged and motivated.
I think you're right about the motivations, but I think that you showed Stutzman again. I don't think it was about disrespect or doubt. It was just about the pride.
Oh, yeah, today for him.
Even more important old school values.
Oh, yeah. Senior day, emotions before the game, tears in his eyes.
Not the only one either. There's a whole bunch of leaders in this defense.
Yep.
You know, people around here think, oh, we had a championship level defense in this conference, and we wasted it. We wasted it with bad offense. And it's not entirely incorrect thinking, although tonight the offense stepped up and did the part.
Bad offense. It started with injuries to the offense. I mean, you use 4 of your 5 offensive linemen, top 5 receivers. That's tough, but look at this.
Here comes a Sooner stampede. Oklahoma crushes Alabama and may have dealt their postseason dreams a fatal blow tonight here in Norman. We won't know the answer to that for a while, but loss number 3 stings and carries heavy weight. Jalen Milroe, not the evening he hoped for. 3 interceptions. Somewhere down in that Oklahoma Crimson mosh pit is Holly Rowe with Brent Venables.
Well, Coach, you told us that your team had a lot of resilience and pride. How did it show up tonight?
Oh, they were absolutely amazing. I told them winning never negotiates. You know, we finally did the things that winning requires, and what all 3 phases, how well they complemented each other. These guys, man, they're amazing. Their guts and their toughness, and they punch first, they punch back. And tonight, we finally punched last.
Your defense was terrific. 3 interceptions, held the edges, stopped the run game. How did your defense really win this game for you?
Yeah, our defensive staff were just fantastic. They had a wonderful game plan. The players, all the credit goes to those players that executed it. They just played together. They were so, again, fought with so much purpose tonight and just belief. And finally, they willed themselves to a win.
As your seniors walk off this field tonight, what are you the most proud of, Coach?
Well, again, we said there's not going to be anything easy about this season for us. And I guess the harder it is, the more epic the story. And that what these guys have had to go through and overcome, that ultimately is not what you become, it's what you overcome. And ultimately, this team has created an identity of continue to believe, continue to fight, continue to work, keep your head down, you know, block out all the outside noise, don't listen to it, and believe in one another. And what a night, what a performance.
Thank you, Coach. Go enjoy this. I'm sorry for smushing you this whole interview.
He said something interesting, embracing and using the suffering. And there's been a lot of that this season. Just their second conference win, their first FBS win since September. Couldn't get any sweeter than this.
Oh, man, good for the Sooners and good for Brent Venables. What a moment. The year they've had. Here's the up-to-date SEC standings, the top 8. A&M game is not over yet. They're holding on to a 3-point lead if you want to flip it over to ESPN and see the ending of that game. Just under 2 minutes to go. But take a look at
the Vols move up.
The winners today, Tennessee and Georgia, with the Ole Miss loss, with the Alabama loss. And we still got another week of the regular season.
There's going to be a lot of Jackson Arnold videos posted. You can see a whole lot of
That's a great view.
That's the modern world.
That's it right there.
Doesn't matter if you can't record it and post it, right?
Yeah.
Kirk, this whole day, which began, with game day in Columbus, that showcase game, Buckeyes make a dominant statement. Kurt Cignetti said, of course, silly question. Of course you belong in a playoff with just the one loss. We'll see. Penn State survived. Could have had a second loss there, but they got out of Minnesota with the win. Then you shifted out to the Big 12. It now has a 4-way tie for first. And Arizona State's one of them.
Kenny Dillingham and the Sun Devils becoming a huge story. Kansas, not at home, they're in Kansas City at Arrowhead. They upset Colorado. That was a huge win. Kansas had 3 big wins in a row. And the Gators with another win. They've knocked off LSU. The Swamp is alive. And they end up beating Ole Miss today.
This was a closer game than the score. So Texas heads to College Station. And now you've got Ole Miss and Alabama with the 3rd loss in the conference. The depth of this conference, unquestioned. The quality at the top will be debated. Have they just eaten themselves alive in the home stretch of the league?
I mean, what
hurt each other's postseason chances?
And the world is the committee going to do with all this? Just when you think a team lost and they're out of it, other teams lose. And now maybe they're back in it. Who knows? Someone's got to be in it, the large teams.
We knew this was going to be fun. And it wasn't just that you have 12 teams in a playoff. You have months of the buildup to get to the playoff as the celebration continues. Below us here, we didn't get a chance to point out the Big 12 as a 4-way tie for first at 6-2. 1 game left to play for those 4 teams.
Yeah, I mean, Arizona State, they got to beat Arizona. They would be in. But who they're going to end up playing, we don't know. ACC is going to be an interesting run next week. Syracuse hosts Miami. SMU's in a really good spot. Clemson could still buy. How about the Clemson-South Carolina game taking on some serious meaning and what that could be for next week as far as the results of that game are concerned?
You feel like, the ACC and the Big 12, it's been the conventional thinking. Those are one-bid conferences, only the champion going into the bracket. Notre Dame continues to track toward a bid, but you've got these 2 mega conferences, the Big 10 and the SEC. What's very interesting is when you look at one-loss records, the Big 10's going to have a clear edge. When you have a bunch of teams in the SEC would have played much tougher schedules, sitting at 2 or 3 losses, there's the debate, right?
That's the debate. I mean, you're going to look at Big 10 teams that are going to have, like you say, the record that would make you feel they deserve it. But then you're going to have other teams that have been challenged more. And you look at the top 25 teams that they've played, where they played them, what time of the day, going in primetime windows on the road is tough. So it'll be a very difficult, subjective analysis. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Ultimately, it comes down to what the committee thinks and how they'll evaluate this cluster of teams that we're going to have for these large picks.
One of the great programs traditionally in this sport. They dominated the Big 12. Year one in the SEC has been rough for Stutzman and company, but a sweet one on senior night as the Sooners lower the boom on Alabama. 24-3 is the final here, a night that these veterans and these fans will never forget in Norman. Terrific job by producer Bill Bunnell, director Jimmy Platt, our entire crew here, except on the West Coast. Stay tuned for your local news on most of these ABC stations. Kirk Herbstreit, Holly Rowe, Bill Lamagna, and our entire crew. Chris Fowler saying so long from Norman on the Sooners night.
Thank you for watching this presentation of the Southeastern Conference on ABC.